The Book of Joe, a fictional piece inspired by true nightmares. Read by Joe Gagos, the author. Nightmare 1, the end. There's screaming outside, coming from all around. I run out my door to find huge golden crafts hovering in the air. There's no one around. I'm all alone. My family's gone. I don't know where they've gone. The crafts move slowly and with ease. In the distance, I can see people rising in the air, screaming as they float. What the hell is going on? They get pulled up into the crafts and vanish. Is it aliens? Then I see a symbol on the side of the ships and realize they aren't ships at all, but rather the golden chariots described in the Bible. Really? Judgment Day has come? It has to be, but why am I left behind? Am I not worthy? I drop to my knees and pray for forgiveness, hoping the craft will come back my way and take me. That's where my family is. I just want to be with them. It rises up now, leaving this world without me. The screams have dissipated to almost a whisper. He has everyone that's going, and I'm not one of them. The crafts vanish, and I'm left alone in the silence, with tears burning my cheeks. But the silence doesn't last long. Howls of terror start to fill the void. I will not die like this. I run inside and start gathering the swords I've collected over the years. I never liked guns, but now I wish I had. I head for my door with the picture of my family in my pocket and prepare for the worst. I wake up. Nightmare 2, realization. I'm leaving my front yard at this point, sword in hand, when I hear a deafening screech above my head. Have the ships come back? I look up into a hazy sky to see a new craft, this one dark and burning. Only it's not on fire from damage, but by design. Hell's fire. What's really going on? I can't be sure, but I know I'm in danger. I hide in the brush and watch as the ship comes full circle towards me. It may know I'm here. It descends towards the earth and sits motionless in the air. About 500 yards away, a man jumps out of a tree and runs across my field of vision. I'll never forget the look on his face. Sheer panic. I watch as a long, flesh-colored tether projects from the craft and spears the man through his back. He explodes, as if he were merely just a water balloon filled with blood. He vanishes in the blink of an eye. He didn't even have time to scream. I hope my own end comes just as swiftly as it did for him. I realize that this must be the end of humanity. I can't be the only other left behind. I wait for the ship to move on and decide I must look for any survivors. Maybe they will have answers. I wake up. Nightmare 3, face to face. So much time has passed. I'm no longer in the comforts of my neighborhood. My home is miles away and I haven't found anyone else. The world around me is no longer recognizable. Homes are halfway standing and towns look more like landfills. My swords are clean of blood and gore and seem to be the only thing left clean in this world. No ships, no people, just me. I approach a town. I have no idea which one. My clothes are filthy and torn and are reminders of a long journey. I enter a building looking for food. It has a wall missing. Maybe it will just fall on me and end my suffering, I hope. I look at my family's photo. I pray I will see them again, face to face. I'm still so confused about what the first crafts were. I haven't found any answers, nor will I find any food here. Everything is rotted. I think about all those I've loved in my life. I hope if it was God, He took them. I don't even care anymore about being left behind. I just hope they are safe. I hope I can greet them all one day, in person again. Panic grips me as I hear the growls behind me. I run, and I don't look back. I wake up. Nightmare 4, just run. Running, it's all I can do right now. I hear it behind me, gaining ground, snarling and giggling all the while. It's gonna kill me, this I'm sure of. What else can I do except just run? I have my swords, but the beast behind me shakes the ground with every step. I can only assume he's giggling at the thought of killing me. Swords would be useless against such evil. My legs burn up from the running. I actually wake up from this nightmare with sore legs. But I have to keep running. I'm scared shitless at this point. I want to stop and let it be over with. Let this monster have his way. He would relish killing me. He would laugh at my death. However, I've never given up on anything, and I can't give up now. I'll keep running until it's over. The steps grow louder until his breath is on my back. I stop dead in my tracks and turn around screaming my last battle cry and swing my sword at nothing. He's gone, but I can still hear his laughter. I run again until I wake up. Nightmare 5. Now I know. I can't stop running. I think about the growl, the laughter, the sheer delight my death will bring one of these creatures. Are they demons? Aliens? Monsters? Who the fuck knows at this point? I remember feeling real confusion in my dream. I see a small cottage, still in good condition, in a clearing ahead. A small ray of sunlight shines down on it as if a beacon. With my luck, it's just going to be trouble, I think. Maybe it's a sign that I need. Maybe there will be food in there. I can only pray. Still running, I leap into the air and kick the door in as hard as I can and go tumbling inside as I can't catch my footing. My head hits the leg of a table. I stand up and am greeted by a Bible on that same table. At least I can have a good read before I die. I ask whatever God is up there for a sign and flip the Bible open to a random page. Revelations. Now I know. This is the end of me. I close the door behind me and begin to read about the end of things as I know them until I wake up. Nightmare 6. Wandering. I've left the safety of the cottage at some point and now walk along a dirt road, just wandering aimlessly. I have no idea where I'm going. As I approach a nearing hill, I hear a man screaming. I crouch down next to some bushes and I make my way up the hill and I see him. He's running, doing his best impression of me 2 nightmares ago. He's scared, like me, and looks just as confused as well. My first instinct is to call out to him, but then I see it. Another ship. This one resembles a windmill, long and slender with the sort of wheel on the front of it. It moves slowly, as if it's not trying to make the capture. Anxiety rises up in me when I realize it's just watching things unfold, some sort of a hunt in progress. I hear the growling, followed by the giggles and the laughter. I know what's coming, so I make my way down the hill and head in the direction I came from. Suddenly, they're screaming, loud and deafening, shaking me to my core. He got him. It got him. Whatever the hell it is. I break out into a full sprint again, as fast as I can move. Looking over my shoulder, I see the ship turn towards me. It sees me. A new hunt is about to begin. I want to wake up and force myself to do so. Nightmare 7. Aware. I made it to a clearing surrounded by trees. I hide in the only bushes I can find and I pray it's enough. The sky is full of ships now of all designs. Some big, some small, some designed for killing and others for capture, but all are on fire. They have become aware of me, I believe. A woman runs out from the tree line and is tethered like the man in my second nightmare. And like the second nightmare, she pops. Gore scatters across the field and she's just gone. The ship moves on slowly, but they aren't finished with their search. I watch from a distance as a horde of creatures make their way towards the tree line across the field. They are too far away for me to see in detail what they are. They look big. My swords would be no match for them, almost like fighting a rhino with a toothpick. They are aware that people still remain. If I could find someone before they do, I may get answers to what's happening. I start to run again. I feel the need to get away from this place. I feel the need to wake up. Nightmare 8. Time. Much time has passed. I can feel the beard on my face growing longer. I'm walking down another street, only this time I've made it to a city. Buildings barely stand anymore. Bricks litter the streets. The ships are still everywhere, only I must be tired of running. I walk along, alone, waiting. I feel hopeless. I feel like I'm waiting on death row, only my sentence can be carried out any minute with no warning. I hear screams in the distance. I don't panic or flinch. Too much time has passed, and I guess I'm getting used to it. The first screams I heard were of confusion, as people didn't know what was happening. These screams I hear now are of the end. Lives over in an instant, and such a cruel way to go. I hear them coming and know it's another group of those demons. I hide under a pile of rubble as they pass. I don't ever want to crawl out from under these rocks. I start shaking in my sleep and wake myself up. Nightmare 9. Cattle. I open my eyes to a world of trees once again as I have left the city. A golden field rests in front of me. The grass is knee-high, perfect to dive in if I need to hide. I'm already scared in this dream. I sit in the highest grass I can find and rest for a minute. Then I hear it. Here we go again, I think to myself. A group of steps. There are many of them. I listen, too afraid to poke my head above the grass line. Soft talking fills the air. People. Before I can rise, I hear the grunts of those demons right behind, and it causes me to sit motionless. Then the growls begin, followed by screams. I hear them being slaughtered like cattle. I freeze. I can't even cover my ears. Too afraid to rise, I sit and listen until the end. I don't even know what their captors look like, but I won't dare peek. I've heard enough to know that I don't want to see. The shaking begins in my sleep again. I feel it as I wake up. Nightmare 10. My face. Back into town, I drift around looking for something, anything. I know this is the start of another nightmare as the world around me is in shambles. I hear the growls in the distance. The creatures are still looking for me. A terrifying and crazy thought enters my mind. I've dreamed of things before they've happened in the past. What if I'm seeing another event before it's happened? Can I really be having a vision of the end of the world? If this is in fact a vision, then I need to see my face. It will give me an idea of what year it is based on the aging of my face. I start to do a mad scramble through a building nearby to find a mirror. Nothing. Suddenly the world is devoid of windows. Not a single glass shard big enough to see more than my eye. A sense of urgency falls over me as I look everywhere to find something shiny. Panic grips me tightly as I search now at what seems like 100 miles an hour. I'm throwing things around like a crazy man, looking for anything. I hear steps in the next room. Big steps. I look up to see a tall, slender mirror resting in a corner. It's dusty and old. I run over and wipe it off as fast as I can, and I'm shocked to see my face. I've hardly aged at all. That means that this will come in my lifetime, sooner rather than later. There is no time to think about it now. The creature is entering the doorway into the room directly behind me. I run full speed through a hole in the wall, knowing he has seen me. His steps are loud. He's coming right behind me as I wake up. Nightmare 11. My death. I'm almost dead now, running like my life literally depended on it. This nightmare is more intense than any other. I'm in the woods, I'm covered in sweat and it's flying off of me as I can't seem to stop running. I can't breathe. I stop long enough to catch my breath and realize I lost my would-be captor. I'm shaking so hard now, in sleep and in this nightmare. I catch my breath and look up only to see that I'm not alone. He found me. He stands around 8 feet in height with white, milky skin covered in black veins and is almost as wide as a garage door. A huge lump on his back that resembles a turtle shell pulses. He looks like a scary-ass warped version of a turtle, only he has eyes as white as his skin and a small, black, misshapen pupil in the center. He smiles and giggles that horrible sound he makes. This is, without a mistake, a demon. This is hell. I look down and realize I've drawn my sword without thinking about it. Why the fuck do I even still have this thing? The terror sets in, and I know I'm fixing to die. I finally break, accepting the end for what it is. I will not cry, not for this fucking thing, but I can barely hold it together. I draw a long, shaky breath as the demon sets on all fours, beginning his charge. He laughs in the same moment that I begin to scream. I run forward with my sword drawn. If I'm gonna die, I'm going out swinging. The distance between us shortens dramatically fast. Impact. The world is spinning. I can see trees and sky and dirt and grass all at once. I feel the twigs and the leaves under my back. I close my eyes and I scream and I fight. Everything goes quiet and black. I know that, in my dream, I may have truly found my death. These 11 nightmares would span 22 days. It was 8 days later that I had one last nightmare that connected with the last 11. 12 nightmares in 30 days. Nightmare 12, the true hell, the beginning. There's light. I see light coming into my field of view. It's bright at first, but dims slowly. Then I realize I'm looking at the sky, standing and staring straight up through the trees at the sky. My face feels swollen until I reach up and feel that half of it is. I feel the hot blood pouring over my forehead and down my back. I look down and I find myself in complete amazement. The demon has fallen beneath me and I'm standing on him. I drop down to all fours, still on his chest with my face inches from his lifeless eyes, and let out a primitive scream. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I jump up to my feet, still on his chest, and give him both hands with both middle fingers. Yeah, one for you and one for your master. Let him know that I'm coming and the true hell is coming with me. I tremble with real hate as I spit on his face. I feel heat wash over my shoulders, only it's not the hellfire I feared all this time. I begin to laugh and cry in the same moment. It's just the sun. Only it's not the sun alone. I feel some sort of revitalized life pump through me. I feel his presence. I wasn't meant to go. I was meant to stay for a reason only he knows. I look up to the sky and laugh harder than I ever have. I have dark times ahead of me, yet I'm standing in the light. And all I can see is the sun. 2 months later, Nightmare 13, Dream. I can't really call this a nightmare, but it is connected with the last. It was brief, only lasting seconds. I'm standing on a hilltop. It's the evening, right before dusk. A sea of grass is in front of me, illuminated by the sun. Trees are in the distance, blowing in the wind. My face is dirty and stained, as well as my clothes. I hear steps behind me. I turn and see that somewhere along my journey, I've made a few friends. A small group of people are with me. They look tired and just as filthy as me. I give them a look of reassurance and look forward. I begin to walk. I wake up. The Book of Joe, a fictional piece inspired by true nightmares. Chapter 1. The grass has grown long. It feels like a literal hell to walk in. Every long blade grabs at my feet, pulling and creating resistance. I'm so tired, wanting only to fall over and make a bed in my tormentors. I can't dare stop, though. Not when people are depending on me. I hear them dragging behind, creating a song of shuffling tired feet in unison with my own. It will be dark soon, and we will need a safe place to sleep, if such a place even exists anymore. It's gonna be okay, I call out to those behind me. Only, I have no idea if that's true. The world has turned into a living hell, a place not fit for this sad band of misfits now begrudgingly trekking through it. How the hell can any sane individual come back from something like this?
We're with you, Joe. Just fucking tired and hungry is all.
Meet Sasha. Dangerous and beautiful with the soul to match. Long brown hair hangs past her shoulders and graces the body of an angel, with blue eyes that shine ever so radiant. She isn't like your average pretty person. She's different. A true survivor, surviving her own personal hell before we all met the real one. She remains a mystery, along with the other 7 souls that are with us. The time for a meet and greet doesn't exist when you're fleeing for your life. The only fact known about each other is that we're still here, when everyone we love was taken. A single agreement was discovered in the only conversation we had. We must be paying for some sort of mistakes. How can a soul like Sasha's deserve this? How can any soul? In a clearing ahead, a small hill sits with a cave leading into a dark abyss. A small group of large stones lay scattered near the dark entrance. It's the first time we've seen a shelter that hasn't been laid to waste. We could hide in there for the night and barricade ourselves in. Guys, let's head for that cave and check it out. It may be a place where we can lay our heads for the night. I do my best to project confidence into my words, knowing that they need some kind of reassurance. After a brief stroll, we near the cave entrance and I can see that it looks smaller up close. All 9 of us may not fit in this small little hole in the earth. Our group consists of 5 men and 4 women. It will be an uncomfortable sardine can environment, no doubt, but we can't risk splitting up. I can't let anyone go. They are all that I have left in this world, and I don't even know their last names. Still, though, I feel a true connection with them all. Strange, but stranger things have happened. They are my people, and none will be sacrificed to the monsters that hunt us. I'll stand guard all night if I can cram them all in that tiny little space, because I'm the only one to slay one of the beasts. I wouldn't have anyone else stand out in the open, alone, in the dark. Besides, I still have my sword, and it has already proven itself resourceful.
Shit, man. This ain't gonna work,
He says with clear frustration in his voice before pointing a small, stubby finger.
We aren't gonna fit in there. Not all of us. Fuck.
Danny was a hothead before the world collapsed. I didn't need to know his past to understand him. A short, stocky guy, bald with tattoos covering both arms, who was probably picked on as a kid for his short stature. Small people tend to be like angry chihuahuas, but only because they have to be. The old world was full of assholes before it ended. I'll make it work, Danny. I'm going in first to check it out. Danny, you come with me. Greg, Will, John, just stay with the ladies. Listen for anything when we go in. If it sounds like we're in trouble, just fucking run. Head for the tree line behind us. We came from there, so we know it's somewhat safe. Climb a tree, hide in a bush, just fucking hide, wherever you can. Their faces become pale and grim, but they nod in agreement. I had always been a natural leader in the old world, and now find myself a willing sacrificial lamb who's ready to die first if needed. I enter the hole first, with Danny closely behind me, crouching down low as it is barely 3 feet tall and just as wide. We make our way into the darkness, slowly, knowing full well that the darkness in this new world tends to be filled with living nightmares.
Here, bro.
Danny hands me a lighter, but the small contraption is unwilling to cooperate. I flick the lighter a couple of times before the flame ignites, and I can see a wider entrance in the flashes. My eyes start to adjust to the pitch black in front of me, a dark body of blackness, masking the fact that the cave goes further than it appears at first glance. It looks deeper than we thought. We may all fit in after all. Let's go a little further. See how far it goes. Let's make damn sure there's nothing waiting for us inside, I instruct.
No.
Danny replies quickly. No? I ask in a louder voice.
Fuck no, man. I'm not going down there. You can go. I'm staying right here.
I can't see his face, but don't need to in order to understand that he's frightened. I often forget that not everyone was like me before in the old world. I enjoyed the darker things in life. I rarely felt fear until the new world began. I decide that I won't torture him with his newfound fear by making him go. It's cool, Danny. Just wait here. Head to the tree line if it all goes bad. I'll find you guys there, I assure him.
I'm fucking scared, man. I went through some real shit before this all happened, but nothing like this. Did you see those fucking things? Fucking demons, man. Real demons.
His soul is shaking, and it pains me to hear it in his cracking voice. I've killed one before, but it wasn't easy.
That's your story and you're sticking to it, huh?
He scoffs. I can almost see the small smile creeping across his face. I am. You must be too. Why else are you still following me? I ask. Silence answers me, along with his labored breathing. Look, Danny, I don't have the answers. I'm just as fucking scared as you are. I want to live, man. I want you to live too. I'm not gonna do something that gets us all killed. Just get the fuck out of here if it goes bad, alright? You'll have to warn them if I die. He begins whimpering softly in the dark, and I'm relieved I'm unable to see his face clearly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll wait here. Be careful, man.
He finishes quietly as his voice dies down to a soft whisper. It's gonna be okay, Danny, I assure once again as I turn and repeat the words in a softer voice. It's going to be okay. It's just a little white lie I keep telling everyone, including myself. The walls of the cave are surprisingly warm. I had been underground before on several occasions and always found the ground cooler than being above. The revelation sends a warning signal through my clouded mind and creates an urge for me to turn around. This is strange. The ground around me gets hotter as I progress, burning my knees and palms before the ceiling rises and I find myself able to stand up and walk. The lighter grows hot, threatening my fingers, but I hardly notice it. I'm too busy searching the darkness for the first sign of trouble. I walk along, my steps like air, until I find the back wall of the cave. All seems well and a likely place to sleep. Finally! The lighter screams at my fingertips, which have become unbearably hot now. I kill the flames while standing as still as stone, allowing it to cool while listening to the environment, straining my ears as hard as I humanly can to hear the others back at the entrance. It's eerily quiet, leaving me feeling like I've spent an eternity in this new dreadful chamber. Hopefully, it only means that we haven't been discovered. Reigniting the lighter, I make my way back to the entrance as fast as I can move without the flame dying out. I don't want to be too optimistic yet, but it would be wonderful to deliver good news for a change. Everyone craves a good rest, and a peaceful night looks promising. Danny. Silence greets my hushed voice. Danny! Still, no words return from the darkness where I left him. Shit. Did he leave me? The darkness falls quickly outside, robbing me of the light needed to illuminate the entrance. His voice would have been my guide. Danny! I shout, with panic starting to break through my voice.
I'm here, Joe.
He finally responds after a couple more seconds of silence. Well, motherfucker, answer me next time. He lets out a soft chuckle.
Sorry, man. I dozed off for a second. I just woke up and went out to check on the others. Everyone is okay. What's it like down there? Is there enough room for us all?
Well, it seems... Wait a minute. Did you just say you dozed off? What the fuck, man? You're supposed to be listening out for me, goddammit. We could have all been killed if something happened and you wouldn't have fucking caught it because you were taking a fucking nap? Really? I snap at him without thinking, which is an easy thing to do considering none of us had slept in a week or more. A dark, quiet environment would have pulled any of us to such a sweet, long overdue slumber. I felt like such a prick. A far cry from who I was in the old world. I'm sorry, Danny. Let's get the others and get some sleep. My nerves are on edge. My words fall as softly as I intended. I force myself to remember that I'm supposed to be the sane one in our little tribe. How long was I down there?
It had to be over an hour. Sorry, I fell asleep.
He mutters. An hour? Fuck, I say and pause as surprise overtakes me before regret invades me. I'm the one who's sorry. Everyone is out in the open for a whole fucking hour? Because of me? I wouldn't forgive myself if something had happened. I really wouldn't have.
Joe, you amaze me.
He blurts out, catching me off guard with this off-the-wall comment. A hushed laugh escapes my lips before I find my words. What? How? I hear him chuckling in the darkness in front of me.
You still haven't figured out a bunch of strangers were prepared to head for the hills and leave you as an appetizer. It's cute that you think we give a fuck.
He roars with laughter and I join in. I feel excitement for once, finally being a harbinger of good news. My hope is that we will sleep better than babies tonight. We fumble the last few feet to the entrance with no light to guide us. The lighter is empty now, sputtering out its fiery last breath. At this point, it really doesn't matter. We'll find a way back into the comfort of our new safety. Danny climbs out first and falls to the ground as I follow quickly behind. My legs suddenly don't want to cooperate. Sasha reaches down and helps me to my feet as Greg helps Danny to find his footing. She looks into my eyes while her eyes reflect cold ice, so blue, as her face sits expressionless. I know the look all too well. She has no expectations anymore. She doesn't like to be disappointed. I wonder if it's a quality she also possessed in the old world, and my gut feeling tells me as much. Well, good news, I think, I began.
Yes. Finally, friend. My old bones can get some rest.
John stands the oldest of us all. None of us had ever talked about our age or anything personal for that matter. We're all on a first-name basis and nothing more. He's a large man with pearly white skin with the salt and pepper beard littering his face. His short brown hair is matted and appears to be falling out at the crown of his forehead. If I had to guess what he did before the old world ended, I would have guessed he was in the oil field industry, or a truck driver, or a professional wrestler. He stands such a big burly guy, and yet he reminds me of a harmless panda. It suits him. I do have some bad news too, guys. The lighter I was using ran empty. It's going to be tricky making our way down there with no light, but it's safe, I informed him.
Wait. I have a bag of glow sticks. They won't last all night, but at least it's something.
Greg is a young kid who must be about 19, covered in acne and sporting short black hair. Skinny and lanky, it's a wonder that he survived the hell we're living in. He didn't look like he could survive high school, but here he is. He's an intelligent kid, and it never hurts to have a genius in your corner. He removes the stash of glow sticks from a small bag he's held closely for all of our trip. They glow a nice, bright green, and it's good enough for us. I wonder to myself what else he might be hiding in that bag. Hopefully some liquor, I pray. He hands me the bag as we make our way into the entrance. I crawl in about a foot and turn around with the feeling of dread that won't seem to release its grasp on me. This doesn't feel right. Why are the walls of the cave so hot? I feel an obligation to bring it up. Before we make our way down, I need to say something. If anyone has any kind of knowledge, please speak up. I've been underground before, and the air and the environment was always cool, right at around 60 degrees or so. It's hot down there. Does anyone have any idea what that might mean? I pray for welcome news, but feel a wave of disappointment wash over me when I see the look on Greg's face. What are your thoughts, Greg? I ask.
It shouldn't be hot down there, bro, like, not even a little bit. I have no idea why it would be.
He finishes looking concerned.
I don't need air conditioning, I just need to get some beauty rest. I could care less if it's hot or full of spiders or perverts. I'm getting some sleep.
Amy J confesses with a look of joyous relief on her face. Amy J is a large woman, around mid-30s, with curly blonde hair. She's a mystery to us all, mainly because she never speaks. This is the first time I heard her put together more than a sentence. It pains me to admit that when the shit hits the fan, she would probably be the first one we lose. She's slow and not athletic in the least. Two traits you don't want to have if you're running for your life. She was at the back of the pack every single time we had to run. I slowed myself down each time to protect her, as I'm still the only one with the weapon. I can't help but smile at her and think that she will probably be the first to go. I hope I'm wrong, because I absolutely hate it when I'm right.
I'm with Amy J on this one. I'll make a pillow out of the spiders and cover up with the perverts. I'm so tired.
Amy K is a wonderful woman, in her 20s, small and petite, with straight black hair and fierce brown eyes, and has a personality all her own. She loves to talk and is a human parrot of sorts. I can't even count all the shut the fuck ups she heard over the past week. The thing I found so endearing about her is the amount of crucifixes she wears around her neck, wrist, and even her waist. She must be confused and thinking the world was taken over by vampires. She's definitely a religious woman, as I had always seen her praying in quiet moments. Carmen, Will, what do you think? I asked the duo standing next to me. I hope they share my concerns. Will stands a strong, athletic guy with a buzz cut that's slightly overgrown now, giving him the appearance of a baby chicken. Tall and muscular, I'm glad he's with us. He will be needed when we come across one of the demons. He seems to share a bond with Carmen, a slightly overweight gal with a dark complexion. She claims flowing black hair and small black eyes. Her and Will are joined at the hip, never leaving each other. I'm guessing they knew each other before the world fell to ruins.
Dude, I just don't want to be out in the open again. I can't sleep like that. I'm always so paranoid those things will find us. I say we go in.
Will states in a deep voice that matches his large frame. Carmen? She doesn't respond to me, but rather stands still as her eyes remain blank and wondering. She leaves me no choice but to raise my voice a few decibels. Carmen!
Huh? What? Oh, sorry.
She seems more troubled than any previous day we've spent together. Are you okay? She worries me, leaving me to think she knows something we're not aware of.
Yeah, I don't. I'm okay.
She responds with her voice coming off a bit shaky. Carmen, what's wrong? What are you thinking? If you don't want to go in, let us know now. It will be fine, I assure her.
I just have a bad feeling that something's wrong with this place. I'm scared to go down there.
Finally, someone who shares my concerns. It's almost a relief of sorts. The group lets out a collective sigh and start complaining amongst themselves. The eyes are rolling and I can see Carmen shrinking by the second. I raise my hands up to demand their attention and come to her aid. Guys, it's unanimous or it's nothing. That's the way this is going to work. If she doesn't want to go in, then I say we keep moving until we find a place suitable for everyone. Crouching and making my way back into the entrance, I pause and I feel my legs begin to burn and cramp. A decision must be made as the darkness has begun stealing away our time. Will turns to her and they share a quiet conversation. I hear him telling her she will be okay and that he would defend her with his life. I can hear her steady breathing. She sounds like she's fixing to hyperventilate and seems to be on the verge of an anxiety attack. After a couple of hushed seconds, Will turns to us.
She's okay. We can go in. She's just claustrophobic is all. She'll be fine,
he states. The panic in his eyes betrays the lies upon his lips. I know full well not to believe him. Greg hands out a few glow sticks and we ration them out according to our place in line. The first, third, fifth, and ninth person would have one so we could have a steady light all the way down. The entrance sits narrow for the first 20 feet. It only gets hotter as we fall into the darkness that would be our resting place for the next few hours. The tunnel finally widens, allowing us to walk huddled close together as we explore our new temporary home. The cave ends at a small pocket, but it's big enough for us all to stretch out comfortably. We place all the glow sticks in the pile in the center of a room and create our own eerie green campfire. The mood is somber as no one wants to talk. At least it appears no one will break the ice. Everyone starts stripping down to be more comfortable in this underground sauna we found. It's hotter than I remember, seemingly growing hotter by the minute. I decide to try and lighten the mood as we gather around the dim light. Let's all get to know each other. I'm Joe, as you all know, and my sentence is cut off lightning quick by a newly animated Danny.
What the fuck for? We're gonna die soon enough. So what's the fucking point?
And if we don't die, Danny? Look, in the only other conversation we had, we all agreed that we were left behind for a reason. We all agree on what we saw. Our best guess is that God came and took everyone we know. Why? I'm just trying to find a commonality that would help us all understand why we're here. I can tell we're not evil people, so why then? Why did we stay when he took some real shitbags? Danny shrugs his shoulders and looks away, starting a domino effect among the group as they all look away into the darkness around us. It appears that none care to answer my question. My name's Joe. Before the world ended, I was an average guy working average jobs. I never went to church or had religion, really, but I did pray every day. I always believed in some sort of intelligent design or higher up, universe, however you want to phrase it. I had a wife and a son who were taken. I remember hearing their screams as they were pulled up. I didn't get to see them go. By the time I made it outside, they were already up there, in the ship or chariot or whatever the fuck it was. I wasn't a bad husband or father, but I guess I could have been a better person. I don't know why I'm here. They all glance around the room, taking care to avoid eye contact with me. No one wants to take the lead, leaving me talking to myself.
I'm Amy Kaiser, and
No last names, Amy K. Or did you forget?
Danny interrupts her with the sharp words.
sorry, I guess it's better if we don't get too personal.
She shrinks a bit in the darkness before starting over.
I'm Amy K, and
You said that already.
Danny interrupts again. Will shoots Danny a cold look that pierces the shadows between them.
Hey, let the woman talk already.
Whatever.
Danny mumbles. Will smiles at her delicate face and gives a small nod of encouragement.
Continue, Amy.
I'm Amy K, and I saw an angel when it all began. He came from the sky and grabbed a young girl as her family ran off, leaving her behind. He was a handsome guy. His eyes were so kind. I did go to church every Sunday. I also went to Catholic school as a girl. I'm 25 and was never married, but I did have a boyfriend. Frank was.
She pauses for a moment as her voice becomes small and fragile as she finishes.
He was killed by one of the monsters. I don't understand why I'm here.
Her trembling voice cracks as she begins bawling uncontrollably. Sasha hugs her tight as she curls herself up and cries on her slender shoulder. She has the utmost faith in God, and if it really was God that came and took everyone, then why did he leave her here? She's the sweetest of people and somehow was deemed unworthy of being spared this hell we find ourselves in. There has to be a reason, but it eludes me and seems more distant with every new revelation about Amy that is revealed.
See what happens when you talk to people, Joe?
Danny chuckles as he gets up and leaves the group. He heads over to a small, dark space next to the entrance.
You guys can play Dr. Phil. I'm gonna crash.
Good night, Danny, I say. I hate negativity. I'm starting to wish I had a pillow so I could smother his ass as he slept. Thoughts like this, I remind myself, are probably what led me to living in the New World.
I'm Will, and this is my wife, Carmen. We just got married on the day this all happened. We joke it was God's way of blessing our union.
His booming laughter echoes in our small underground retreat, but has the contagious effect he was hoping for. We all laugh quietly along before the silence returns.
But seriously, we were career-driven people. We didn't want kids. We didn't ever go to church. But like you, Joe, we prayed every single day. It probably didn't help that all I prayed for was to be successful in my business. I guess it would have been better if I prayed for other people. Carmen comes from a very religious family. She would nag me to go to church when we were dating. I guess I should have listened.
Carmen sits in silence, but through the darkness her eyes reveal that she won't be talking today. She keeps her attention focused on her patrol of the room, expecting demons to rush in and end our lives. Her uneasy demeanor leaves me unsettled. I figure that maybe claustrophobia is getting the best of her.
Greg, your turn.
Will passes the baton off, making sure Carmen is excluded from the conversation. Greg smiles and shifts his skinny frame into a more comfortable position.
Well, I was a freshman student in college and was majoring in engineering. I didn't go to church. I found that my interests were always tied up in school and girls. I never got any girls, but that didn't stop me from trying.
He smirks and laughs at his own joke.
But I had parents that would always push religion on me. It's not like I didn't believe in some sort of God. I was just so grounded in what I could see and touch. Praying was always weird to me. Since this all began, I've been praying all the time. I can't blame him for not answering my prayers, seeing how I didn't pray until this all happened. Pretty selfish of me, huh?
Greg possesses a sweetheart by nature. He can never harm a fly. It worries me that I would have to watch his back closely. If one of those monsters found us, I just can't see him having the stomach to fight back.
Amy J., would you like to go?
Greg asks her.
Sure, honey. I'm Amy J., and before the world ended I was just a plain old housewife. I went to church all the time, anytime it was open. I had 2 darling children and a wonderful husband who thought the world of me. I watched them go up into the crafts. I cried. Tears of joy. Because I knew it was God taking them to heaven. I didn't even care that I was left here. I'm just so happy that my family isn't suffering.
She smiles a big, toothy grin. I can tell she means every word she's spoken. She's fine with being left here to rot, more than anyone else here. Thanks for sharing that, Amy J. I smile at her and wink, hoping she can see it in this dreary light. Her positivity is just what our little tribe needs. Sasha, would you like to say anything? I ask. She shoots me a glare that I can almost feel through the dim green light. It frightens my very soul. I find myself suddenly hoping she has nothing to add.
Okay, Joe. My name is Sasha, and I don't trust you. I think you will leave us the moment it all goes wrong. I think you are a piece of shit. I think that if it came down to you or us, the decision would be easy for you to make. And it wouldn't be us that you choose. To me, you come off as a scared little bitch who is only looking out for himself. I have no reason to trust you. You haven't given any of us a reason to.
Danny erupts with laughter in his little corner of the world, and I can see that Sasha means the cruel words she just unleashed. The room is quiet, except for the insufferable sound of Danny's laughter. What the hell? Where did that come from? The day I found Sasha, a day engraved into my mind's eye, she was roaming the woods alone. I asked her if she wanted to join me and received a firm
Go to hell.
I explained in order to survive, we would need numbers. I could tell then that she didn't trust me from the moment our eyes locked. I didn't need her to trust me, but only to live, for whatever reason. A reason that eludes me the same way the answer for Amy K being left behind eludes me. I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope you believe me when I say that I will lay my life down for you, for any of you. I pray that I never have to prove it, but I will.
Like Danny says, whatever, Joe.
Rolling her eyes and shaking her head, she gets up and heads to the other side of the room with Danny, who sits laughing softly to himself. She lays down with her back to the group. She's small and lean in size, but her soul has such a commanding presence. I can hear her sobbing quietly to herself and realize the outburst wasn't about me. She just needed to direct it at someone to keep it from eating her up inside. I decide it's best not to bother her anymore. Let's all get some rest. Call it a night. It's the last thing I say to the group before I lay down. I do my best impression of the pretty girl I share a cave with and keep my back to the others. I remain motionless on the ground, lost in thoughts about my family, and quietly cry myself to sleep. It's really hot now. I open my eyes and feel the sting of sweat as it pours into them. Everyone is up and getting dressed. My clothes are soaked, but at least we were able to sleep for a few hours uninterrupted. The glow sticks, barely clinging to life, are still giving off the faintest of light. They had an 8-hour life, so I know we haven't been down here that long. I catch a glimpse of Sasha staring at me, almost as if she's studying me. She seems hurt and unsure, almost confused, leading me to question myself in my mind if I've somehow met her and wronged her in the old world. I make my way over to her and hope for the best. Hey, that's all I can say as her eyes seem to have stolen the rest of my vocabulary.
Hey, Joe, look, I'm sorry about last night. I shouldn't have attacked you like that. You've been really nice to us all. I'm really sorry.
She mutters softly while wearing a mask of submission on her face, as if she's expecting me to punch her. Don't worry about it, Sasha. All of us are stressed out. Maybe it wasn't the best idea to have everyone talk about their lives. It's only going to make us dwell on what we lost and remind us of where we are now. It wasn't my brightest moment. She thinks about my words for a minute while I stare into her beautiful blue eyes as they're showcased by the green light.
Still though, it was wrong of me.
She says while her lips tighten into a straight line.
I won't let it happen again.
Good, because if you did, I'd have to kick you in the kneecaps the next time it was time to run. I joke with her. You know, leave you behind to get eaten. She cracks a little smirk and moves in slowly for a small embrace. I lightly place my arms around her and pray it's the end of this unfounded bad blood that's found its way between us. Of course it wouldn't be. We get out the last remaining food we have, a box of Cheerios and a pack of Capri Suns. This won't hold us over for more than a few hours. We need water and a real meal, seeing how all of us are famished from the hard days behind us. We'll have to go back into a town or a city and scavenge for supplies, where the larger concentrated group of demons would no doubt be roaming. We would need lighters for fires, weapons, clothes, and if there really was a just God, toothpaste and a toothbrush. Of all the things I miss most about my old life in the old world, I miss getting up every morning and brushing my teeth. I'm sure we all have breath that smells like we've been sucking on gem socks, but still, a small comfort would be nice. Before I can begin the day's instructions, a loud thump fills the air around us. I feel the vibrations under my feet. Carmen scrambles to her feet and starts climbing the walls looking for the entrance before Will takes her by the arm and pulls her in close to him. Another, followed by another, louder and closer. The vibrations under my feet are as strong as a small earthquake. Whatever is happening is taking place under us or around us, and it's closer than I wish it to be. Everyone hold still and be quiet, I whisper loudly. Giggles, faintly but unmistakable. Oh, fuck no. I've heard these nightmarish giggles before. It appears the demons have found us. I reach down for my sword and grab the handle tightly, vowing silently that I, nor anyone else, would die this day. Everyone head for the entrance quietly. It sounds like they're still underground. Let's get above ground and head back for the tree line. Another loud accompanied by hellish giggles has all our nerves now standing on edge. Don't make any noise. A closer boom reverberates around us and is accompanied by screaming. We feel grounded and motionless suddenly as a man cries out in pain. Carmen's small eyes have become wide now. It dawns on me that she's seen this horror show before. A piece of the wall next to me falls to the floor, leaving a golf ball-sized hole in the wall. A hot, sweltering light shines through. I hesitantly peek through and see that my worst nightmares are about to become reality. Demons. Dozens of them making their way towards the center of the earth. Their large, turtle-like bodies wear crimson blankets of blood. Some of them lumber along, dragging terrified people. Others carry the remains of half-chewed human limbs. The heat shoots through the hole with the force of a fully lit furnace. That's why the walls are so hot. We're sleeping next to a gateway to fucking hell. Go! Now! Everyone starts making their way into the entrance while I stand frozen and watch. One of the demons carries a middle-aged man over his shoulders. The man cries, knowing the terrible fate he's about to meet. Cries that tell me full well he understands he's about to become lunch for one of these beasts. He must know. The look of resignation on his face tells me that he's watched others turned into a 3-course meal. The demon drops him to his feet before wrapping him up in a frighteningly tight embrace and begins biting down hard on his victim's head. The screams of terror and pain that fill my ears violently turn my stomach. I can hear every jagged tooth slowly grinding into his skull. He screams louder by the second as blood pours over his face. The demon grunts and bites down even harder still, sending a sickening crunch filling the air as the man's eyes shoot out of his now crushed head. He convulses, his body now shaking in his captor's embrace. I pray it's only the result of nerves. I really don't want to imagine he is still alive in this moment. On cue, they all stop marching and surround the man and shriek as their feast begins. The sounds of flesh ripping accompanies a leg flying off, followed by an arm. I can't force my eyes to look away, even though I'm now nauseous. I hear the group frantically making their way up the tunnel. Only Danny remains to pull my mind back into reality.
Joe, let's get the fuck out of here, man.
Danny exclaims with rage and panic gripping his voice. I can't move. I'm frozen in horror as I watch them chewing up his bones, listening to every sound they make. The grinding, the smacking, the swallows. My mind keeps me frozen in place while my body screams at me to move. I want to study them as long as I can and learn as much as I can about humanity's newest enemy. My legs threaten to collapse under me as I feel myself shaking to pieces.
Joe, fuck it, man. I'm leaving without you.
I listen as Danny shuffles up the tunnel, keeping his promise that he won't wait. I watch as they devour what's left of the man. It doesn't appear that they have many weaknesses, if any. They tower above us, standing a broad and bulky species. Individually, we would have a better chance of victory. The only weakness I can pinpoint is limited mobility. They cannot turn quickly, having to spin their entire bodies. I think to myself how horrible it would be to take on a group of them. I'm too busy being lost in my own mind to realize that a huge, black, misshapen eye is now staring back at me. Only inches in a thin wall separate me from this freak of nature. I feel my heart seize in my chest as the realization washes over me. Fuck me. It sees me. Turning as fast as I can, I head for the small glowing light that creeps into my vision. Danny, my unsung hero, left a glow stick in the tunnel entrance. Thank you, Danny. The wall comes crashing in behind me as I hear a loud, blood-curdling cry tear through the air. He's alerting the others, letting them know about the tasty morsel he just happened to cross. I dive into the tunnel and begin a military-style crawl upwards towards the light. It's now daylight outside. I feel the ground vibrating due to the beast on my heels. I figure if I make it to the tunnel entrance, barely a few feet wide, he would have to stop. No such luck. He tears the earth down with terrible swipes of his claws, ensuring that my escape won't be easy. I hear the others up above, screaming at me to make haste.
Hurry, Joe.
If only they knew what evil pursued me, they would rather me take my time. Pain shoots through my ankle as he catches me with a claw that seems unbearably sharp. My sword jabs into my hip with every shuffle, a painful reminder that I should have put it on my back. It hurts worse than the love scratch I just received from my about-to-be captor. Almost there. The hellspawn is still right behind me and not losing an inch in his pursuit. I'm inadvertently leading him to the others, I realize. It's a horror I do not wish for. My heart screams at me to stop, spin around, and let him gobble me up. With luck, he'll think I was the only one down there, leaving the others undiscovered. Sasha said I wouldn't make the sacrifice when the day came, but I would hate to die to prove a point. Amid the chaos, my mind pauses ever so briefly, and I see a memory of a happier time. I see my wife's green eyes. I see my son's smiling face. I won't be dying today. Making it to the top, I scramble out with only seconds to spare. The giggles are behind me now, announcing his grand entrance to the world. Everyone is about 15 feet away with sheer terror as their companion. Upon realizing he's followed me, jumping to my feet, I spin around and draw my sword, ready to go to war. Someone is dying today, and it damn sure isn't going to be me. His head pokes out of the entrance, and his nightmarish eyes fall upon me as his voice shrieks a horrendous sound. I swing my sword down hard and true, hitting the mark perfectly. His cry is cut short as my blade slices all the way down to the ground, delivering a clean cut. His head falls to the earth with a moist thud, as blood as black as a starless night violently shoots from his neck, staining the ground around me. That makes two. About 50 million to go. I stand still, breathing heavy, looking at the demon's head in front of me as his cruel eyes stare right back. I suspect he was surprised that one of these frail little creatures would actually fight back. I don't even notice that Sasha has approached me and is now holding my hand.
Joe.
I continue looking at the disgusting lump in front of me while trying to catch my breath as the rest of the world appears a mirage. Everything around seems silent to me, a hum taking place where there should only be silence. My senses seem to have numbed almost completely. I can feel Sasha, her small hand trembling slightly in mine, and I allow myself to return to our new, morbidly twisted reality.
Joe.
Still standing statuesque and staring, I feel my eyes refuse to look away. She walks in front of me and lifts my face to meet hers, forcing me to look into her eyes. They are soft for once, and the blue tint in them glow a bit brighter.
I trust you now.
The day grows hot and long, but absent any more surprises. We make our way to a clearing, standing about 500 yards from a small town. It appears it's time for a supply run, so I think quickly about how to go about it. Who do I take and who stays? Where do they wait? What do they do if something goes wrong? Always asking myself questions is pointless, as I never seem to have any answers. I inform the group that we need to make this supply run and we need to do it quick. I remind them that towns and cities are hotbeds of demon activity. I decide to take Danny and Greg and leave behind John and Will. It makes sense. The two biggest guys should be left behind to protect the women. Danny and Greg are, like me, of a shorter stature. I stand 5'10", but that's still short by most standards. I want people who can be quick and evasive if we encounter any trouble. I'm pleasantly surprised when Danny happily agrees to go. I expected him to give me some resistance, but none is offered. Greg's more hesitant, but I assure him I won't let anything happen to him. I explain that he's a valuable asset and that I would feel a lot better if he's by my side. Reluctantly, he agrees. As we leave the group, I can feel a hole being burned through the back of my head. Sasha's staring at me with the unsure gaze I'm getting used to. I, on the other hand, am sure of her leer and turn around to find I'm correct as our eyes meet. She has a way about her, and speaks to me with her lovely blue eyes, letting me know she's not happy about me going. My stubborn heart refuses to let anyone else risk their life. Still, I feel obligated to go back and explain to her, this woman of many personalities, that there is no choice in the matter. Hang on a second, guys. I'll be right back. Confused, Greg and Danny look to each other for an explanation as I walk back. I'm thinking of what I could say to her, how to say it, how to end it, how to get it over with. She makes my heart uncomfortable every time I catch her passing cold glance. Before any words can pass my lips, she beats me to it.
I'm going with you.
She states as if that's the end of the discussion. No, you're not. You should stay here. Why would you want to go? This could get really dangerous, I speak softly. She seems so unstable in some moments. The way she handed me my ass in the cave is still fresh in my mind. She's a nice gal, and then an evil bitch at the flip of a switch. I'm suddenly paranoid, not sure of which Sasha I'm speaking to.
I can help. I'm as quick and nimble as Danny and Greg are. I fit your description,
She says as she does the air quotes.
on who should go and why. You need an extra pair of hands. There are 9 of us, and we need to bring back as much as we can. Like I said, I'm going.
She marches past me as if I don't exist, towards Danny and Greg. To think, I thought for a brief second that she was concerned about me going. Turns out evil bitch Sasha has returned. I follow behind and hurry my pace to catch up with her. I was a good husband to my wife and never argued about the little things, but she really pushed my buttons just now. I'm starting to realize she has a real problem with me, hidden just below the surface. I'm not some coward who's gonna lay down and let people walk over me. I had enough of that before the world imploded. Danny and Greg are about 20 feet ahead of us, just out of earshot as I find myself in stride next to her. Sasha, you said you trust me.
I do trust you, Joe. Do you trust me?
I don't know why, but the answer is yes. I trust her, even though she shuns me from time to time. She hauntingly reminds me of someone from my past. I do trust you. I just don't want anything bad to happen to you is all. There's a good chance we will encounter some demons in town, I explain.
So you don't think I can handle myself if things go bad? That's what you're saying, right?
She retorts. I believe you can handle yourself. It's just that
you don't want to have me slowing you down. Someone you have to watch over like I'm fucking helpless or something.
She glares at me now, a stare that makes me instantly uncomfortable. I never said you were helpless, Sasha. 3 people was an ideal number to take, was all I was thinking. I thought it would be quicker.
So, I'm slowing you down.
What? No! I'm getting so confused as to where this is coming from.
You just said 3 was an ideal number to be quicker. I'm number 4.
Why the fuck does she keep spinning all this shit to make me seem like an asshole?
Keep up.
She speeds up and walks faster by the second to catch up with Danny and Greg. I caught their prying eyes, looking back occasionally and catching some of the conversation. She has a really sexy, angry walk, I think to myself. She also has a way of making me feel like I'm the biggest idiot in the world. She can make me feel so small. Hands down, she's the prettiest post-apocalyptic bitch ever. I catch up with them just as we approach the road into the town. Bushes line the road, a perfect cover, making sneaking into the town a much easier task. The difficult part will be making our way around, absent notice. Looking closely at the town, it appears that life doesn't even exist within its borders anymore. Let's stay low along the bushes all the way into town. Stay quiet and listen out for anything. Any signs of demons when we turn around. Are we all in agreement? I ask. Greg and Danny nod immediately, but not Sasha. Of course not Sasha. Sasha? I already know what's coming.
I'm with you, Joe. I trust you.
She smiles and wears a warm, welcoming expression. Okay, I didn't know that was coming. Does this girl need medicine or something? Maybe it's that time of the month. She can't be batshit crazy, can she? I won't allow myself to question it anymore. Nice gal Sasha is back for the time being, and hopefully she sticks around this time. Okay, let's go. We stay low along the bushes and make our way in. I pause every 10 feet to listen for anything coming from the town. It's quiet, and my hopes are that the silence is a good thing. As we approach the first building, I quickly look back and check on the others. Danny and Greg nod to me in unison. They stand ready for action. Sasha's on edge, but winks at me and shoots me a witty little smile. Still nice gal, Sasha. The moment reminds me that, deep down in my innermost soul, a weak man lives inside me. My God, she's so beautiful when she's not angry with me. She stands a vision. Pulling myself back into reality, I lift my head up above the bushes for a better view. The town is deserted of life, with buildings standing half demolished. The roads are barely visible anymore as trash covers the entire town. Distinguishing which stores are department stores and which are grocery stores will be a task. Shit. I was hoping our visit would be brief in nature. This is definitely going to slow us down. Still wading through bushes, the building next to us has a small window only a few feet from the ground. Climbing through would be ideal as it would put us only a few inches above the bush line, keeping us almost hidden. We make our way over before I stand up and peek inside. It's a bookstore. I'm guessing there's not much to eat in there, but I'm intrigued to go in anyways. This is just a bookstore. I pause to survey the surroundings before continuing. But I want to check it out anyways. You three can stay here and keep watch, or you can come. It's up to you. Confusion graces their faces almost in sync. I'm going to have to push the issue if I want to go in. I hope they don't argue because I don't even have a valid argument to go in. I don't even know why the hell I want to.
What? You think we can eat books? Do you really want to waste time looking in a bookstore? Maybe you think we'll find some bookworms to eat. You can go. I'm not.
Danny and his smart-ass mouth.
I'm going with you. Maybe Danny and Greg should start in the next building? We can cover a broader area if we split up.
Sasha says as she looks at me with the new curiosity in her eyes. I don't care for the look, but at the same time, I don't want to argue with her. She has a valid point. I would feel better if it was me and Danny or Greg instead of me and her. This is nothing more than a recipe for disaster. I can feel it in my gut. I look at Danny and Greg and pray they see the subtle pleas in my eyes. You guys cool with that?
Fuck it. It's smarter than searching a bookstore for food and water. I hope you find a stash of cookbooks and get really hungry.
Danny says and begins a quiet, raspy laugh. He taps Greg on the shoulder and heads towards the back of the building. Greg doesn't follow, but instead shoots a look of concern in my direction.
Or maybe Joe and I could go.
Greg asks in a frighteningly boyish tone. Thank you, Greg. I knew you were a smart guy. It's all I can think as I try my best to fake a look of disappointment in front of Sasha.
I think we'll be fine, Greg.
Sasha says as she smiles in my direction. There's that look again. To hell with it. She's gonna murder me. I just hope she makes it quick. It's all good, man. Sasha and I will go. I try and reassure him with my eyes. I'll be fine, Greg. Reluctantly, he agrees.
Okay. Good luck to you.
He looks at me as if to say, not to worry. It's reassuring to know he'll be listening out for us. They head off towards the back of the bookstore as I begin my leap through the window. Sasha uses her slender arms to try to give me a boost. I keep thinking she's going to shove me up into the jagged glass that hangs from the top of the window. I wait for the moment, but it never arrives. I crawl in and do a quick scan of the room. Nothing but books on bookshelves. A water cooler sits next to the clerk's desk. It's empty. Unsurprisingly, we will not be finding water in here. I turn around and reach out the window for Sasha to take my hand. I help her through and try to be as delicate as possible. Glass shards protrude from everywhere. One slip and we're living in a world of hurt. We get low to the floor and make our way to the nearest bookshelves. I'm starting to get nervous. My first New World date. Only it's a date with a psycho who just ran out of happy pills.
Joe, look over there.
Behind the desk is a corpse of a woman, probably just a couple of days old. This may be a sign that people are still here based on the decay. It's fresh, leaving me to wonder if that's good or bad. It would be best to get in and out, like we all planned all along, I remind myself. I study her body and try to figure out the mystery of what happened to the woman. It wasn't a demon, that much was obvious. She doesn't have any bite marks or scratches. The only thing obvious at first glance is that she died protecting some sort of prized possession. Laying on the floor in a fetal position, she's clutching something close to her body. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but it was probably going to get me condemned to hell. I kick myself, knowing that I have to see what it is. Wait here. Sasha looks at me while a real fear invades her eyes. The curious looks are gone and replaced with anxiety. She doesn't want me to leave her. Or you could come, I offer. She nods her head quickly and scurries over so close to me that I can smell her. She smells like a meadow. How is that possible when none of us have bathed in a few weeks, or possibly longer? I pass it off as nothing more than my overactive imagination. I begin crawling low towards the now decaying woman and see that she must have loved jewelry. Chains adorn her neck in brilliant gold and sterling silver. As I get closer, I see that she has crucifixes on every chain. She had faith, and yet she died here. Another one of God's mysterious ways, I suppose. I forget it quickly, as all I can think about is what this woman is holding. I'm a couple of feet away now, but still can't see what it is. I finally make it to her and immediately reach for the object she clutches with her frozen hands. I yank it out hard, discovering it's just a journal. It must be full of information she considered to be valuable enough to die for. I flip it open, expecting to see some sort of world-altering method designed to save mankind. Only, it's blank, with every page consisting of phantom words. It's a big book of nothing. I let out a sigh of disappointment as we stand up. I just wasted so much time to rob a dead woman of her blank book. I'm expecting evil Sasha to return at any second and tell me how wrong and stupid I am. She stares at me with eyes that seem suddenly sad.
You should take it.
She tells me. Why? So Danny can ask if it's my dinner? It surprises me when she laughs rather loudly. She's as pleasant as she is beautiful when she's happy. I find myself curious about what kind of life she led when the world was still normal. Sasha, can I ask you something? I ask her, almost apologetically.
Sure, as long as it's not about my life before the shit hit the fan.
She cracks. I look down and try to hide that that's exactly what I wanted to know about. I have so many questions about the woman she was, none more so than what it was about her past life that made her dislike me so much from time to time. Never mind. We should move on and find Greg and Danny. We need a lot of supplies. A lot of daylight is already gone. I can feel her getting closer to me. Her feet are coming to my field of vision as I can't look up at her face. I feel her energy starting to rise. I had it wrong. She doesn't want to kill me. She wants to get affectionate with me. At least that's how it feels. I look up in time to see her face coming closer to mine. I don't want to hurt her, but I don't want her either. She's a gorgeous woman, but I'm more concerned with finding food than with an end-of-the-world romance being the last thing on my list. The tricky part arrives before I'm ready for it, letting her down softly. I close my eyes and wait, and she pecks me on my cheek. I reluctantly open my eyes. She's looking at me as her blue eyes cloud with mischief while she bites her bottom lip. What was that? I ask like a scared little boy.
My apology for being such a bitch.
Now's my chance. I'll accept it if you answer one question about your past. What is it about your past that bothers you so much? Her face turns sour immediately. She's not going to answer my question, not today at least.
Okay, you know what? Don't accept my apology. I'm fine with being a bitch.
We stare at each other for a second before we share a quiet laugh. It feels nice, yet surreal, to be sharing such a moment with her. I accept. Let's go find Greg and Danny and see how they fared. We stay low as we head for the back entrance of the bookstore. I see a beautiful black leather book bag that can be worn and would be perfect for supplies. A handful of them remain. I take them all and place my new journal in one. We exit the back door to find Danny and Greg approaching with the shopping basket full of water, canned goods, cereal, and a variety of assorted dry goods. All in all, it was a good score. A few dozen bottles of water are crammed in the cubby underneath the cart. I reach down and grab two and hand one to Sasha. We must appear famished as we drink like fish.
Yep, that's exactly what I did when I found the water aisle.
Danny chuckles and we realize he's covered in water, his clothes soaked from the chest down.
Yeah, that, and puking all over yourself when you were done.
Greg says with an annoyed look on his face before turning his attention to me.
You guys find anything?
No, nothing. I'm waiting for Danny to say something clever and don't even see Sasha getting closer to me.
We found this.
Sasha pulls the journal out of my bag before I can react.
It's Joe's.
What are you gonna do with that?
Danny asks me in a puzzled tone. Sasha answers for me as if I lost my voice.
He's going to write in it about us and the end of the world.
Sitting next to a fresh, new campfire surrounded by darkness, I begin writing about all the horrors I survived in the journey up to this point. I try hard and remember the little details. An impossible feat, stopping and looking at the color of the flowers around when you're trying to avoid being eaten. Everyone is celebrating quietly while stuffing their faces and drinking water like it's the last water on earth. I warned them to take it easy, that we don't know when we would get our next supply. They don't listen, and honestly, I don't care. Their spirits are raised. I decided it would be best to let them indulge. Besides, if the coming morning is like the previous one, then we may not live long enough to finish our new cache of goodies. We're out in the open, robbing us of a fighting chance if more demons come upon us. Sasha, Amy J, and Amy K come over and invite themselves to join me. They're covered in water and what looks like cornflakes. They each hold a roll of toilet paper. It's almost as valuable as gold in this new world, especially to a lady. They pause a few feet from me and take a seat while Sasha continues the rest of the way. She quickly closes the distance between us.
I got something for you.
Sasha hands me a small bundle of toilet paper. I can feel a couple of objects rolled into the center. I unroll it and can barely contain my excitement when a toothbrush and a travel-sized toothpaste falls out. Oh my God! Thank you so much! How did you know? My smile was wide and no doubt comical.
Well, you held your breath when I tried to kiss you. I could tell you were worried about it. So sweet.
She laughs softly and mockingly while shaking her head and rolling her eyes. She thinks I was worried about my breath? Good enough for me. I would rather her think that than know the ugly truth, that I was wrestling with my thoughts on the best way to shoot her down. Fuck! I have toothpaste! Yeah, I'm real self-conscious like that. Wait, you told them? I point over to the two Amys. They're sitting and watching like we're their own personal romance flick. They have red cheeks and beady little eyes with their hands slightly covering their mouths. They all remind me of a couple of 10-year-old girls who just kissed a boy on the playground.
Yep. I told them I thought you were cute and was wondering if you were a good kisser. You can answer that for me later after you've brushed your teeth.
She gets up and walks towards the rest of the group, who are still having a cornflake fight, tossing food around after we just spent a week wondering when we would have a good meal. I can't get mad. What can I say, really? The freaking world ended. Throw all the fucking cereal you want. I watch her go over to Will, Carmen, John, and Danny and sit on the fallen tree they turned into a makeshift bench. I look at the two Amys. They sit as still as time with their gemmed eyes full of expectations. What? Amy K spills her secrets.
Nothing. We're just so happy for the two of you.
They get up and make their way over to the others. I sigh deeply, aware that this isn't even remotely good. It wouldn't be a good idea to get mixed up in some sort of strange relationship when we don't even know if we'll be alive next week. It would only complicate things in an already complicated world. Even so, I like this new Sasha. Not in a romantic way, but her soul is so kind when she's not attacking me. First and foremost, I stand madly in love with my wife still. She's the greatest woman I've ever known. She didn't up and leave me for another man. Some mysterious god took her. If I had the choice, it's exactly what I would have asked for if given the chance in the beginning of it all. She deserves to be far from this hell. Until death do we part, only I have no idea if she's still alive. I pray she is, her and my son. I think about them every second of every day when I'm not running from demons or would-be scorned lovers. The thought of seeing them again keeps me alive. I guess that's what I'll tell Sasha. The harsh truth. She can't blame a man for loving his wife. Leaving my thoughts behind, I begin scanning our new environment. The noise level's starting to pick up as the group feels like they have time traveled back to the old world. They're getting careless as if demons don't still hunt us. I start a walk around the perimeter on the edge of the light and watch the group enjoy their new Thanksgiving feast. Will and Carmen are scarfing down Pop-Tarts and chasing it with peanuts. Thank God we found toilet paper. I have a hunch everyone will be sick in the morning. I feel a wave of anxiety upon realizing that Greg is missing from the pack. Where did he sneak off to? Sasha notices me pacing and scanning for trouble. I don't want her to panic, not this new, lovely version of her I just discovered. I just want everyone to enjoy themselves until the terrible moment arrives where we no longer have the option to. I look out into the darkness, allowing my eyes to adjust and scan a good 24 yards or more. I see Greg's phantom in the distance. I head over to him quietly as to not disturb him of whatever the hell he's doing out here. He's just pacing in the dark is all, as far as I can see. Hey bro, bad time? I can come back.
No, it's cool, Joe, you can stay. It was getting a little loud, so I started doing a patrol. I don't know how they forgot about this morning. That we're being hunted.
Such a smart kid. He isn't about to forget that we're all on death row. It's pretty crazy, right? I mean, a year ago I wouldn't have imagined the world would turn out like this. I attempt my best shot at making small talk. It's not like I can ask about the weather.
Yeah. Pretty crazy. So, what happened with you and Sasha at the bookstore?
He smiles at me in the darkness, and I'm reminded that he stands all of 19 years old. Girls, girls, girls. No, it wasn't like that, Greg. At least, I didn't want it to be. Honestly, I thought she was going to kill me. We both crack up quietly, still trying our best to scan our surroundings between the giggles.
So did I. I saw her head that way and thought you were a fucking goner, no lie.
We erupt in laughter, and the release I feel assures me that we needed it. We're the two serious ones in the group, always calculating our next moves. It's the first time I heard Greg's true laughter. He has a deep, booming laugh that you wouldn't expect out of a skinny kid.
Speaking of Sasha,
Greg's tone becomes serious.
did you notice anything odd about her? It seems like she has two personalities. Do you think she has a mental disorder?
Good question. I feel a little less paranoid knowing I wasn't the only one who noticed it. She could flip at the drop of a hat and then be the sweetest girl to ever live. The thought had crossed my mind. She just didn't fit all the symptoms of any specific mental disorder. I really can't pinpoint, no matter how much I rationalize, the cause of her behavior. Yes, I noticed, but I don't think she's sick. I think she's still having a hard time coming to terms with what happened, how we all ended up getting left here. I think it's just her past haunting her, I reply, giving the most honest assessment I can.
Well, even if that's true, it wouldn't be a bad idea to hang on to these.
He steps closer to me and puts his back to the group as he hands me a few small bottles. What is it?
It's for bipolar disorder. The grocery store had a pharmacy, mostly still intact. I also got pain meds, antibiotics, bandages, and a few other things.
Damn, such a smart kid. Thanks, Greg. I'll keep them handy, just in case. I quickly place the pills in my pocket, keeping them hidden from wondering eyes. I'm hoping I'm right about Sasha. I hope it's just specters of the past that haunt her steps. These 3 bottles won't last forever if she really does need it.
They'll mellow you out too, you know, if you're into that sort of thing.
No, bro. I'm good, but thanks. I can't help but smile at him. I was a teenager at one point in my life, and it was a rush experimenting with drugs. Smart kid, but still a kid. Let's head back to the group. We need to wind everyone down for the night and come up with a game plan for a watch duty. I'll go first, I volunteer.
No, bro. I think I want to go first tonight. I appreciate you offering, but it was my turn anyways. Besides, I want to leave you some alone time with. You know.
Still a kid. We head back to the others as they have their food fight. I listen to our steps as we walk until it becomes the only sound I can hear. I managed to keep my pace with Greg, even though the kid walks so damn fast. He would have made mall walkers proud all over America. I remember how I used to walk every morning in the old world. I would crank up my music and roam around the neighborhood and dance in the street. The neighbors would watch and laugh, observing what a free spirit I was. I miss those times. The group starts to settle down as we approach. They all have the look of a bunch of misfits who just got busted by their parents. It's funny seeing them behave this way and oddly refreshing. They live, which is more than I could have hoped for at the start of the day. Hey guys, I think we should call it a night and get some rest. We're in the open tonight. Greg and I are going to take first watch while you get some sleep. Greg looks at me confused. I see the gears turning in his head and then the imaginary light bulb going off. He knows I'm not comfortable around Sasha. It takes a second, but he catches my drift and nods.
That's fine with me. I'll stake my lookout over on that end, if you want to take this side.
I can't help but notice that it puts me on the furthest side from Sasha. Got it, brother. Stay close enough for me to see you two. John and Will can take second watch. Danny and the 2 Amy's can go after that. Everyone try and sleep a couple of hours before your watch begins. I don't want anyone too tired that they fall asleep on duty. Let's get some sleep. Everyone hops to it, making their beds for the evening. The food everywhere would be a sure sign of life to any undead demons that come across it. A trail of breadcrumbs that would lead them on our trail. I scold myself and yell internally that I can't let them get careless again. We hadn't procured any weapons yet, other than my sword. It was on my agenda to get back into town tomorrow and look for guns, knives, baseball bats, or anything else that might make a difference between life and death. I stare out into the darkness and begin making a list in my head when Sasha approaches.
Hey, handsome.
Oh God, the flirting begins. Hey Sasha, you okay? Don't lead her on,
I'm about to find out.
she says before pausing and staring at me for a quiet moment.
Have you brushed yet? Was kinda hoping for a goodnight kiss.
She bumps her shoulder into me playfully and reaches for my hand. I feel immediately embarrassed as I don't offer mine in return and take a step back. I hate to hurt people, but I really can't lead her on. I'm aware that the longer it drags on, the worse it will hurt her when I reveal that I'm not attracted to her in that way. I'm waiting for it to begin. The hurt, the confusion, the anger she's gonna unleash on me. She seems like the kind of girl who gets upset if she doesn't get what she wants. She grabs my hand with conviction and pulls me towards her. I stumble forward into her as she grabs my face and kisses me long and hard, moving her hands from my face to my long brown hair, then down my back and up again. I stand completely powerless against the violent passion that burns in her. She stops as quickly as she began and pushes me back a step.
Good night, Joe.
She walks back to the campground as if she didn't just rock my world. Apparently, she's the kind of girl who takes what she wants. I begin pulling my senses back from dark thoughts and consider sneaking into town and searching for a cold shower. I am still a man, after all, and yet I'm reminded in this moment that I also still have a heart. The thought that I just kissed a woman who wasn't my wife sends waves of guilt through my troubled mind. How could I let that happen? I guess I won't be needing a cold shower after all. I watch as everyone lays down for the night and make sure that I can see Greg from my lookout position. He's gazing out into the darkness. He must have known I was looking at him as he turns and greets my stare. He looks at Sasha before looking back at me with a mischievous grin. He saw that too, I suppose. I walked to the fire in the center of our campground and kicked dirt upon it. No light tonight. It's been a while since we've seen any of the death ships that roam the sky. I figured it was a strategy, like in war. Send in the cavalry and then the infantry afterwards. Heading back to my post, I heard Greg whistling softly to himself. I was hoping to talk to him, but I was waiting for everyone to fall asleep first. I figured now is as good a time as any. I walk over and slowly take a seat next to him in the quiet night. It's so different than the first few nights when it began, all the screaming and death always filling the air. One fact hadn't escaped me. The silence could only mean that there are very few people left in the world. These 8 that I travel with are the only living people I've come across. You saw that, didn't you? I already know the answer. Why am I even asking?
Yes. That was so hot. I don't know how you didn't carry her off into the darkness. I know you aren't into her like that, but come on, you gotta admit you were thinking about it.
He says excitedly. Greg, I'm married. It wasn't right what we just did. I should have stopped it.
No, I don't think you could have even if you wanted. She wasn't going to give up. I knew that the moment I saw her head in your direction. She looked determined.
Greg says as he hands me a Twix. No thanks, brother. I really don't eat candy anymore. I gave it up before the world ended. You got anything else? He pulls out his bag and starts rummaging through it before turning to me with regret.
Sorry man, only candy. I love candy.
It's okay. Probably not a good idea anyways. I had enough to eat tonight. Man, you know what really sucks? I asked, getting straight into my worries. I'm going to have to hurt her to get her away from me. It's really bothering me. Before the world ended, I was all about the soul, loving and caring for people, always helping when the chance presented itself. The soul hates rejection. It hurts it worse than a broken heart. I can't hurt her like that. We both know she may be unstable. What should I do? I can't believe I'm asking relationship advice from a teenage boy.
Hell. I don't know. Why don't you sleep with her and then not call her the next day?
He giggles to himself and I catch myself trying not to join him. Greg, I'm serious, man. What the fuck do I do? I'm really asking here. He holds up his finger to signal he needs a moment to finish smacking on his chocolate treasures.
Look, Joe. I know you don't want to hear this, but your wife is gone, bro. She's gone. She's not coming back. Maybe you should think about being happy again,
he suggests. Happy? In this world? Not possible, I shoot back.
That's the thing though. For you, it is possible. I know you love your family and I'm sure your family knows it too. You have to ask yourself one question though.
He trails off, leaving me holding my breath. What question? I'm so curious now, needing to know this one question he speaks of.
How hot would it be to see Sasha naked? Seriously, she's freaking fine, bro. I know that would make me happy.
He shrugs his shoulders and pulls another Twix from his bag. I hope you get a bad case of the shits, Greg. He laughs and almost drops his Twix before fumbling with it and catching it. Some advice that was. But again, I must consider the source. A horny teenage boy. What answer was I expecting?
Bro, don't feel bad about liking her, if you do. I'm just saying that it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you did. You love your wife, but she's not here. She's up there.
He points to the sky.
I'm just suggesting that you shouldn't dismiss her so quickly. Give it time. She may grow on you. If she doesn't, it's not a sin to have a friend. She needs a friend. Why don't you tell her that you want to take it slow and see where it goes?
Now that's the advice I was looking for. Greg is so smart for his age when he isn't horny. I could suggest taking it slow and hope she would lose interest. It would give me plenty of time to let her down softly. Thanks for talking to me, Greg. I hear what you're saying and it's good advice and all. It's just that I'll never stop loving my wife. I think I'll try what you said about being her friend and hope for the best, I conclude as I start rising to return to my post. I pause for a moment as an epiphany suddenly dances through my mind. You mind if I take a look through your candy?
Go for it. Bro, just don't take my last Twix.
He says through a mouthful of candy. I search through the bag of goodies and, to my delight, I find exactly what I'm looking for.
Hey Joe,
Yeah?
why don't you just crash for the night? Get some rest. I got this.
His eyes are wide open, a telltale sign that he's all hopped up on sugar. I feel the opposite. My body feels beat, sore, and tired, and I can't wait to turn in for the night. I decide it would be best to take him up on his offer. I would need plenty of rest for the busy day ahead of me tomorrow. Thanks, Greg. I think I'll do that. Good night, little brother. I pat him on the back as he salutes me with his half-eaten Twix. I take the candy Greg gave me and roll it up into the toilet paper Sasha used to gift wrap my toothbrush. I head over to where she's lying and I see that she's still awake and watching me approach. I crouch down next to her now smiling face and hand her the paper. A gift from me, as a friend, I tell her before I rise up to leave. I walk as quickly as I can without making it obvious that I'm trying to escape. She sits up and unwraps my gift to her. Inside is a Hershey's hug and a Hershey's kiss. She smiles wide as she gets the meaning.
Is this the only kind of hugs and kisses I should expect from you?
She asks in her once again flirtatious voice. Turning around, I smile at her and sigh deeply before nodding. For now.
Joe, will you sleep next to me tonight? Just hold me for a while, so I can fall asleep.
I'm afraid to say yes, and even more afraid to disagree. I'm so tired. I know I'll be out soon enough, so I decide to lay next to her. It will be nice to feel like I was somewhat in my own bed again. Sure, just no funny business, I joke with her, hoping she gets the hint. I lay next to her as she turns her back to me while grabbing my hand and spinning my arm around her waist. I keep it firmly on her stomach. Her body is nice and warm and it feels good to cuddle again. It doesn't take long for me to get comfortable and start drifting off into a light sleep. I'm almost there when I feel Sasha move my hand from her stomach and press it firmly on her breast, waking me up immediately. Hey, let's take it slow, I tell her as I move my hand back to her stomach. Good night, Sasha. She lifts my hand up to her face and kisses the back of it.
Good night, sweet Joe.
I'm dreaming of my son. I'm dreaming of my wife. I cast my mind back to happier times when everything made perfect sense. I play with my boy in the living room like old times while my wife cooks up her magic in the kitchen. Everything is right in this life, and I'm dreading waking up and returning to reality where life doesn't exist and only survival remains.
Joe, wake up.
I hear you, Sasha, but I'm not ready to come back. I'm in my happy place, enjoying the good times. You can wait.
Joe, baby, please. Wake up.
My son and I roll on the floor and wrestle like professionals, using the whole living room as our ring. I love you, Dad, he tells me, and I respond in kind.
Joe, please. Wake up, please.
My wife comes into the living room with a tray of delicious muffins she just baked. They're my son's favorite afternoon delight. We run to her and begin to devour the delicious treats as her enticing figure catches my eyes. I speak to her the only way I ever did in her lovely presence, with the utmost affections. Hey, sweetie, I began while feeling as weak as I did every time she was near. She grabs me by my face and looks into my eyes. I get lost in hers, as green as the earth and just as beautiful. She begins to speak to me, only Sasha's voice is in place of her own.
Joe, you have to wake up now. You're in trouble.
My eyes shoot open. I'm lying on my stomach and blinded by the light coming from the sky. The blood is covering my face, running hot and thick as Sasha's body is half covering mine with blood pouring from it. She's not moving. I feel the instinct to get up and run. I have no idea what has happened to Sasha or the others. I make the slightest move when a quiet whisper reaches my ear.
Don't move. Just trust me.
It's Sasha's voice. I hear the crackling of the fire as the hell ship burns in the sky, casting its horrible light down upon us. It sits motionless, observing our bodies on the cold ground. I sneak a peek at the tree that was our bench and see everyone lying under it, frozen stiff. They're breathing. I've awoken to the scariest game of possum I've ever played. How the fuck did I let this happen? The light disappears as the ship starts to move off slowly, gaining speed as it leaves our area. As soon as the crackling vanishes from our hearing, I jump up and pull Sasha into my arms. The blood is warm and slick and covering us both. Sasha! Sasha! I'm shaking in terror and fighting back tears, feeling like I'm on the verge of breaking down. Please don't die. She springs to life and grabs her arm while whimpering and applying pressure to stop the flow of blood.
I'm okay.
She tells me through a pained grimace. Greg and the others race from under their hiding spot over to us with bandages and gauze. What the fuck happened? I can't stop my body from shaking so violently.
A ship approached out of nowhere. Almost like it was invisible at first.
Greg explains in a frantic voice.
I woke everyone and we all hid under the tree. You wouldn't wake up for anything. Sasha wouldn't leave you. She grabbed your sword and sliced her arm and poured blood all over you, making it look like you were dead. She was lying on top of you to keep you from getting up in case you woke up while it was here.
I look over and see my bloody sword unsheathed and on the ground. The two Amys and Carmen are bandaging Sasha while Greg explains the horrible situation my nap just caused. I'm alive because Sasha was willing to die for me. The realization moves me to act with my heart rather than my mind. I reach for her face and lean in, giving her a long, passionate kiss, derived directly from my very essence, my loving soul. I kiss her as if she were my wife, pouring the love out of me and into her, never wanting to stop. I tremble with desire for her as much as she was ready to die for me. I finish our kiss and lean back to gaze at the wonder that is her face. She opens her blue eyes slowly as if drunk, to reveal them bright and glowing.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
She says softly with a tranquil gaze. That was for my life. I trust you with it now. I'll always trust you with it. Taking her free hand in mine, I kiss the back of it the way she kissed mine earlier, and I let my lips linger for a moment as I stare into her eyes. The ladies keep working on her self-inflicted wound while the guys keep their eyes sharply on the world around us. Right now, as everything around us seems frantic, we find ourselves calm as our eyes speak in a newly discovered language only they can decipher. Keeping her hand in mine, I find myself kissing it again. No more candy kisses for you. Chapter 2. The dawn approaches as Sasha and I sit watching the sun threaten to rise for the day. I never went back to sleep. Sasha dozed occasionally in my arms, only waking from the pain of her self-inflicted wound that saved my life. She decided to stay up after the third time she woke up in pain, and I was all too happy to comfort her, whispering sweet words, finding myself suddenly flirtatious. Thankfully, the pain medicine Greg mentioned earlier was able to take the edge off, at least for a few hours. We talked about random things, and I did my best to keep from prying into her past. It doesn't matter anymore, I convinced myself. I'm not concerned with who she used to be. I'm only wanting to know the woman she is now, only wanting to continue to shower her with sweet poetry. She enjoys romantic words, and for now, the rest is unimportant. John rises first for the day, stretching his huge frame in the dim morning hour and resembles a Sasquatch that just rose from hibernation.
Hello, lovebirds. A good morning to you. How's the arm, little lady?
He inquires.
It's okay. but I think I cut too fucking deep. I may need to get stitches when Amy K wakes up. She said she was handy with a needle and thread. I hope she has a delicate touch.
Sasha says, I'll do it if you need me to. I'll be gentle. Whatever you want, Sasha. I owe you everything. It's the truth. I owe her my life. How could I think about turning down her advances now after what she did for me last night? I can't anymore, nor do I want to. I kiss her on the head before standing up.
You're leaving me?
That wonderful flirtatious voice again. I have a feeling I'll be hearing it for a while, and I'm thankful for it. I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back. I won't be long. The truest smile I've ever worn crosses my face and causes her eyes to go soft as she smiles back. It's scary to me, these new emotions. She has a grip on my heart. With my mind still clouded with guilt, a part of me doesn't want to feel this way about her. Then again, how could I not? She saved me. I walk towards the nearest trees, and John walks with me, telling me about how brave Sasha was when the ship came upon us. He tells of how she had the choice to run at the last second, right before discovery, and chose to pick up my sword and mutilate herself instead. She's crazy about me, he says. I agree with him. I think she may be, for whatever strange reason.
That girl loves you. You're blessed, my friend.
John the Sasquatch says, as if I wasn't aware of the fact. She really seems to. I like her, John, but I'm suddenly at a loss for words.
But you feel guilty for feeling like that, 'cause you still love your wife.
I forget that John is an older man and probably has had more than his share of heartbreak. He's young at heart, making him seem like an overgrown frat boy. He looks at me with the expression of a man who speaks from experience. Yeah, I want to see her the way she sees me, but I just don't. I do care for her a great deal. Hell, it might even be love. She saved my life.
Just give her what she deserves, Joe. Nothing more. You owe her your life, not your love. You will love her when the time comes. Until then, be there for her. She's a sweet lady, and soft on the eyes, I might add,
he says as he elbows me playfully. I laugh softly and shake my head. He's right. But why do I feel like I may somehow love her so soon? We're approaching our bathroom now, the trees getting dense and providing ample privacy. I pick a tree and John roams off to do the same. As I'm doing my business, I think about what kind of life I could possibly live out on Earth with Sasha by my side. It doesn't seem right, and I can't imagine it. She's not my wife. John was right. Only give her what she deserves. Pretending to love her would only hurt her worse in the long run. What a mess I find myself in, other than the end of mankind. I finish up and scan the woods, looking for any signs of trouble. This new world constantly reminds you that you can never let your guard down, not for a solitary second. All is quiet, except for John taking the world's longest piss. I'll wait for him to finish up and we head back to camp together, discussing what the plan for today will be. As we enter the clearing to the camp, my eyes fall upon Sasha running frantically towards me. My heart begins to race alongside my thoughts. What's happening? Has the ship returned? Are demons coming? The adrenaline starts kicking in as I grab for the handle of my sword right as Sasha reaches me and jumps into my arms.
Where the hell did you go? I couldn't see you anywhere and I panicked. You can't ever leave me like that again. Do you hear me? Always be where I can see you, damn it. I have to keep you safe.
She screams in my face, shaking uncontrollably. I hold her, allowing her delicate frame to stop shaking in my arms. I still don't know about her mood swings or where they derive from. If it's not some sort of mental disorder, then she has the most loving heart of anyone in the New World. Sasha, calm down. I just went off and took a piss. I didn't even realize we went off that far. I'm so sorry. I won't do it again, I promise. I assure her with conviction and compassion in my voice.
I'm sorry.
She begins.
It's just that, well, you're special to me. I can't let anything happen to you. I don't want to live in this place without you here. You make it better. For all of us. We'd all be lost without you.
I wipe the tears from her cheeks. Her tears are genuine, forcing me to see the fact that she cares about me a great deal. How could I not care for someone who cares so much for me? A phantom fire starts burning in my chest. I feel waves of emotion rise up through me, threatening to break through the surface. The butterflies in my stomach flutter violently around, making me feel nauseated. I can't stop staring into her mesmerizing eyes. I'm a snake and she's my snake charmer, making my heart dance to the beat of her preference. It's funny how a near-death experience can show you your true feelings. After she saved my life, I kissed her without thinking about it. My heart was acting then, and now it's speaking to me. The time had come, so much sooner than I thought. Only minutes ago, I was unsure of my heart. Now, I know how I truly feel. I fall for her in this moment. She may love me, and I finally admit to myself that I know I'm feeling the same. Sasha, you're my heroine, my savior. I owe you my life and will lay it down for you without a second thought. I wouldn't dare leave you or the others, you especially. I can't bring myself to say the words that I desperately want to scream into the air.
Yes?
She asked, looking slightly confused. Does she really not know where I'm going with this? I care about you too. You're special to me too. She hugs me tight and we enjoy our first real kiss. Her lips are soft and inviting, pulling me in and threatening to hold my attention until God has to come back to separate us. I stroke her hair and let my hands glide over the curves of her body, caressing her hips and pulling her into me. She enjoys the moment as much, running her fingers through my long brown hair and feeling my body as she so desires. It feels good to have a loving touch once again grace my soul. It feels even better to return the affections and mean it. We end the passion and find ourselves once again staring into each other's eyes.
I really enjoyed that. I can only imagine how you'll kiss me when you love me.
She says. You don't have to imagine. It's the only way I can confess my new love. She smiles at me for a second before it dawns on her that I just gave my new life to a new love. Her eyes become as wide as plates and her smile grows from ear to ear, making her seem so much more beautiful.
Are you saying you love me?
She asks, giddy with excitement. I am and I do, I say as I keep staring into her eyes, down into her very soul.
Say it. Say the words.
She begs. Sasha, I love you. I know this in my heart to be true. She grabs my face and starts kissing me wildly, nearly knocking me over with the new energy she just discovered. She presses herself into me hard and with meaning, wanting me to feel her with every part of my being. Despite the man in me, I push her off, only because I want to hear it too. A part of me yearns to hear about love in our new hate-driven world. And how about you? I ask in my own attempt at a flirtatious voice. It's not very good, but she doesn't seem to care.
I fucking love you.
She jumps up on me while bringing her legs around my waist as I catch her in midair. I hold her there as we go at it, full of lust and love, giving our best impression of love-struck teenagers. We feel like teenagers again. Our love is new and exciting and as fresh as the morning air. For the first time since the world went to hell in a handbasket, I feel alive again. We stop just as quick as we started and I set her down on her feet. We can't do this here. We have an audience. I can feel the entire group watching. I feel myself turning red as I turn around to face them. I didn't want them to see it play out, me confessing my feelings for the first time. I don't know why though. The sight of it made them happy as my gaze was met by 7 sets of squinty eyes and toothy smiles.
It's about time.
Amy J screams before hopping around in excitement. I knew the girls would be happy about this development, but wasn't sure what all the guys would think. They're just as happy as the ladies, patting me on the back like I won the big game. I feel like I have won something, and I know what it is. It's life. It's the first time I felt anything positive since this terrible new world was born. I hold on to Sasha's hand as if I expect her to drift away. I keep staring at her, those gorgeous blue eyes, her perfect lips, everything. Even her eyebrows are sexy to me. I never thought I could see her in this light, and now that I do, I never want to look away. I'm so turned on by her, and all of a sudden can't stop thinking about all the sexual things I want to do with her. She looks at me with hints of desire, her eyes giving away the hidden thoughts behind them. Tonight, I'll make a move. I just need to figure out a way to do it without looking like an idiot. She moves her body back into me and hugs me ever tighter before whispering in my ear.
Tonight.
That was easy. We all gather for the day. As I come down from the cloud Sasha placed me on, and I can't help but noticing that we're still out in the open. Dangerous thoughts race through my mind with the plan to benefit us all if it's carried out without a hitch. It'll all come down to convincing the others. I will need them all if something goes wrong. They will have to willingly agree to put their lives at risk. Guys, I need to talk to you about something. I'm just going to throw it out there because there isn't a lot of time. I want to go back into that town we went to yesterday and live there. I was planning on us going to get weapons and leave, but then what? If there isn't any demons there, I say we make a secret camp somewhere in the town and call it home, for now at least. I'm tired of running all the fucking time. I just want a roof over my head again. If everyone agrees, say so, and we'll figure out our plan. If not, we move on. Everyone looks around at each other with the same agreeable face. They all nod to each other and then to me. Sasha never looks away from me. She'll follow me to hell, I'm sure of it. She keeps a small, lovely smile on the corners of her lips the entire time I'm addressing the group. It's almost scary how highly she thinks of me. It makes me long for the night so I could please her so much more. Hurry up, daylight. Go away.
Dude, what are we gonna do if there are demons there? Come back here.
Will asks.
Then we leave, dipshit. We keep going.
Danny answers him.
Shut up, Danny.
Will scolds.
I know that. I'm not stupid.
Fellas, look, here's my thoughts. We go in, just a few of us, and do a reconnaissance of the area. If clear, then we slowly make our way through the town from building to building. We'll try and find the safest building possible. Once we establish that it's safe, we come back for the others. The town is full of food and water. It'll be the best place to lay low for a while. Who knows? Maybe it becomes permanent. Let's take it a step at a time. I would like to take the same group as last time. Everyone who went is already familiar with the surroundings. If everyone agrees, then let's head out. We only have the day to scout the area.
I want to go, Joe.
John volunteers.
He can take my place. I don't feel like running today.
Danny says as he grabs his stomach. We told you, fool. Don't drink so much next time. Done. Stay with the others and make a lot of fucking noise if you guys need help. We'll get back here as soon as possible. John and Greg gather a couple of water bottles and other supplies we may need as Sasha and I walk a short distance from the group. I want a second alone with her now in case things go wrong later. Hi, beautiful. You ready to do this again? She takes a hold of my hand and grips it tight. I can't help but love the way it feels.
I'm as ready as I'm going to be, as long as I'm with you. Don't leave my side today, okay?
She squeezes my hand harder and it causes me to reciprocate her tight affections. Never. Stay close to me. Don't leave my side. However, if something goes wrong, you have to get back to the others and warn them. I'm counting on you alone. I meant it when I said I trust you with my life. Now I'm trusting you with theirs. Run, Sasha, and don't look back. Please, just do it. Just listen to me. I love you. I'm being as serious as a heart attack and she can see it. I don't think it crossed her mind that I could die today and she would witness it. The very thought scares her senseless. She begins shaking, so I pull her close to me and kiss her cheek softly. She holds me as if she's afraid I'm going to float off into the sky if she lets go. The shaking of her beautiful petite body ceases after a minute as her heart returns to me.
I love you too. I promise I'll do it. I'm ready.
She tries her best to look confident. I know she's terrified inside, but she harbors a strong will. I can sense that she had it her whole life. She's with me on this, and it makes me love her so much more. I want her to be safe, and more than ever, I want to make her happy. God damn it, is it still daylight? Hurry up, Moon. Let's go. Be ready, Sasha.
For tonight, right?
She asked with a twinkle in her eyes. She wants what I want, maybe more so than I do. Hell yeah. Tonight, I plan on making you feel like the beautiful woman you are, and then some, I confess through a cheesy grin. She bites her bottom lip and shakes her head before bringing her face closer to mine.
Something to live for, then. Don't die today.
She pauses to run a hand down my chest before hooking her thumb onto the top of my jeans, just above the zipper.
And you'll live tonight.
Holy shit. I damn sure ain't dying today. We gather up and prepare the same strategy as last time. Make it safely and take it slow. We plan to enter the town the same as last time, along the road to be concealed from any demons. I'm glad I have John with me today, a big lumbering man who would no doubt prove more useful in an altercation with the demon. It's a double-edged sword, though. A man that big isn't going to be stealthy. Still, I'm relieved that it's him and not Danny, who had become so negative of late. I still didn't know anything about him. He, along with Sasha, never shared their story. Even so, John would be better company. We say our goodbyes and good lucks as we head off towards the town. Greg and John stay about 20 feet ahead of us, giving us a little more time alone. Greg knows the way. He can lead and my body will follow as my mind can only focus on one thing. Sasha. I hold her hand and squeeze it tenderly as we walk. I keep thinking about what would happen to her if something happened to me. I can't let that happen and convince myself that it won't. I don't care if I never get to share another intimate moment with her. I just want her safe, at all costs. The more I dwell on it, the more I realize that it's she who would be lost without me. I can't die today. Not ever.
Joe, what are we going to do?
The question catches me off guard. I'm uncertain of her meaning. We just go on like last time. We'll start at the bookstore, I replied, taking a shot in the dark.
I mean about us. What are we going to do about us? What if something happens to you today?
She asks as her voice starts to shake. I don't know, Sasha, but I plan on being extremely cautious today. I feel like I have something to live for, you know? I ask and squeeze her hand. There's no way I'm going to give that up. She smiles at me and squeezes my hand in return. I squeeze harder and she follows suit. We're having a squeezing contest all of a sudden.
I just feel so blessed. I'm afraid God gave me you, only to take you away.
She confesses through welling eyes. She tries hard to smile at me and fails in the attempt. I stop walking and take a gentle hold of her by the shoulders. I look deep into her eyes and wait until I see that I have her full attention. God himself is going to be shaken in fear if he tries to take me from your arms. There isn't a force in this world that could part us. You have my love in this new world. I will never die as long as you live. I'll make a home for us, here in this shithole, and we'll live out our days feeling like royalty, so rich in love. I'll burn the rest of the fucking world to the ground if only to make you the queen of the ashes. You're my soul now. A man cannot live without a soul. I can't explain why I felt so hard for her. Something about her made me feel alive when all around me was dying. It made me feel selfish. I thought of my wife and what she would want for me. I think she would want me to be happy, and Sasha is it. Sasha has become my happiness. The tears start to flow for the both of us. How is this possible? Such a deep connection, and we've only known each other for maybe a little over a month. I had heard of love at first sight, but that isn't the case for us, yet here we are, deep in love, and I can't explain how we got here.
You can't say things like that to me. It makes me want to fuck you right here in front of everyone.
We both share a booming laugh. I wasn't expecting her to say that, but I guess it's appropriate. Me with my romantic words and her with her sailor's mouth. The perfect pairing if there ever was one. Let's do what we have to the rest of today. I'll have some sensual words for you tonight, and we can pick up where we left off, I say quietly. I can't wait for the night to arrive.
Okay. It's going to be a long day. I hope I can wait that long.
She begins.
But I will, as long as you don't say things like that anymore. It's killing me. You have no fucking idea what your words do to me. What they do. For me.
I close the small distance between our lips and savor the moment. We kiss slow and steady with our souls intertwined, caressing each other. She lets out a soft sigh at the end and smiles as our faces pull away from the joy they were just experiencing. She's so in love with me, and it's all over her glowing face. I'm sure I wear the same mask. We begin walking again and pick up the pace to catch Greg and John. I want to be sure they are ready and talk about possible scenarios that could, possibly would, happen. I pray things will go right, but they seldom do. We have a brief discussion, and before I know it, the road comes into our view. The walk seems shorter than last time. This is it, guys. We have to be quiet until we know we're alone. If there are other survivors, we make sure they know we aren't a threat. The more numbers we have, the better off we'll all be. At the same time, I pause and take a deep breath, feeling no desire to finish my sentence. If they're a threat to us, we deal with it.
How?
John asks, already knowing the coming words. By any means necessary. Let's try for a peaceful resolution if it's possible, I answer him.
I'm not sure I can do that, friend. I'm not a violent person, Joe. I couldn't harm another person. Not even now.
Well, what did you expect? That other people will just mosey on over and be fine with strangers taking over their home?
Greg asks.
I didn't think I would be asked to kill someone, Greg.
John's voice rises and lets his tongue spit fire. You won't have to, John. If it comes down to it, I'll do it. Whatever it takes for us all to survive, I'm prepared to do. I'm not asking you to kill for me. I'll do it, I finish.
Not if I do it first. No one is harming a hair on your pretty fucking head,
Sasha says to me. She has a fire in her eyes that speaks the truth. The demons themselves would shake with fear at her in this moment. Like I said, let's try for peace.
If not, I'll carve those fuckers to pieces,
Sasha says as she taps my sword resting by my side. She means business, and I feel the same. I would kill for any of my people, but when it came to Sasha, I would relish the murder. No one will hurt her, my angry soul unwilling to allow such a thing to manifest.
Let's go. We're wasting time,
Greg warns. We stay as low as we did the last time, moving along the bush line along the road. We make ourselves as small and quiet as mice, stepping quietly along. We make it fairly quickly back to the bookstore, the first building to scout. Sasha and I never made it into any of the back offices or storerooms. I want to make sure that every room and every building is cleared before setting off to the next. It would be unforgivable to find ourselves set upon from behind, having only one weapon amongst us. We approach the window where we entered last time, to a fact becoming clear. There is no way John is going to fit through that window. We can't leave him behind. We'll have to formulate a new plan quickly. He notices before I can open my mouth.
Joe, buddy, there is no way in hell I'm getting through there.
Back door,
Greg whispers. I completely forgot about the back door. Sasha had my nerves so rattled when we were here the last time that I forgot we walked right out through the back. It was concealed by a small forest only 10 yards behind it. John could walk right in with all of us in tow. I lead the way along the wall of the bookstore towards the back entrance, staying low and scanning the area. All is clear. So far, so good. We make it to the back door and find it still open. I peek inside with all the caution of a cat, ready to scramble at the first unfamiliar sound. My steps are small as I enter, my hand on my sword, ready to strike the first threat I see. The entrance sits quiet, yet the sound of total silence has an odd ring to it. It's drowned out immediately by the sound of my heart, threatening to wake the dead. It pounds harder with each step and forces my mind to grow more nervous. Still deathly quiet in the world of chaos, it shakes me to my core. The energy doesn't feel right, so I pause to look back to the others. The look on my face must alarm them as their faces change from cautious to nervous in the blink of an eye. From this point forward, we don't speak, I whisper. Unless we absolutely have to, Something feels off.
I feel it too. Should we turn around?
Greg whispers as he looks around like a scared rabbit.
Let's get supplies. At least.
John chimes in. My mind wanders, calculating, searching for an answer. The risk is no higher than last time, as far as I can tell. The rewards could be boundless. We have to try, or admit we were on a fool's errand. They wasted so much food the night before. I knew then I should have stopped the damn cereal fights and late-night pig-out. Hindsight really is a bitch. John's right. We need supplies. Let's keep moving, fast and quiet. No more talking, only hand signals and motions. Listen for anything, and I mean anything. Remember, we're the only ones here that we know of. Stay quiet and follow my lead. They all nod. Sasha speaks to me with mischief right behind her deep blue eyes.
Live. And don't forget about tonight.
I smile and wink at her. I won't. We clear the bookstore with alarming ease, making our way from room to room as fast and without surprises. Nothing here at all, not even mice. I would feel better if there was at least one mouse, any other soul besides our own. Still, I feel my heart settle and my nerves relax a bit. We've got one building cleared and a whole town to go. I signal to the others to follow, and Sasha rushes to be by my side, keeping the promise I made her swear. I hope she makes good on her other promise of running if things go sour. Greg is behind us, with John closely behind him. We creep slowly out of the back and head directly to the back door of the next building. The door is open, allowing us to invite ourselves in. It's a clothing store with a huge, wide-open area with very few walls for a demon to be concealed behind. Only well-dressed mannequins greet us, dancing amongst a sea of clothes and trash. We make our way in and investigate quietly. Nothing here that can be useful, other than a new wardrobe. The front of the store is windows from wall to wall, allowing us to see the rest of Main Street from the town. Across the street is a building supply store. My mind immediately swims in the endless possibilities. Hammers, axes, gardening tools, and all sorts of household items that could be turned into instruments of death for our new evil friends. In the middle of the store, I motion for everyone to hold still so we can listen to the world around us. The silence, coupled with the mannequins, gives the appearance that the world froze in time, forever trapped in this moment. Our motionless bodies make it seem like we joined them in the moment, and it couldn't have come at a better time. A demon walks into our view, out in the street, about 15 yards in front of us. He smells the air like a grotesque hound, loving his new world that was given to him by a terrible beast after being given up by a great god, and seems at home. This is his domain. He lives here, and as far as we could tell, is the only one. His steps are like small thunderclaps striking the earth over and over and over. He rummages through the trash in the street, completely unaware that 4 sets of terrified eyes are invading his privacy. He is almost out of view now, moving off to the next part of the street in front of the next building. Sasha leans close, her perfect lips unwavering, and whispers to me.
He doesn't see us.
I know. Wait here. I'm going to tell him and see if he's alone. If he has friends, we get the hell out of here. If he's alone, he dies. I whisper loud enough for everyone to hear.
We're coming with you. If he's the only one, we take him out and the town is ours. You'll need all of us to take him down.
John and Sasha nod in agreement. I'm glad they're willing to help, but it terrifies me of what could happen to them if things go wrong. We need to strike first while we still have the element of surprise. I motion for them to follow me and head back the way we came. My frantic mind pictures a stairway along the wall of the next building, leading to the roof as we were heading in the clothing store. We can follow him from above. A demon has no reason to look up towards the heaven, only down at the terrible world he came from. I pray that I saw a stairway and that it wasn't the product of wishful thinking. As we make it out of the back of the store, I see the stairway. Thank you, God. I didn't imagine it. We head up the stairway with our steps still as soft and quiet as church mice, moving with the grace of alley cats hunting down our prey. Once on the roof, the town becomes visible. It's small and deserted, but doesn't look like very many people lived here before the demons came and took it for themselves. We can still hear him below us on the street, moving around with all the grace of a crippled dog, and making so much noise as he goes. It's obvious he's comfortable. He's not looking for anything in particular. At least, that's how it seems. We sneak over to the edge of the roof and peer down, terrified his eyes would meet ours. He's clueless as to our whereabouts, still looking through the trash. He lets out a small roar of triumph, making us all jump as he finds his small treasure buried in the garbage. He pulls a mouse out of the rubble. To the astonishment of us all, he closes his frightful eyes and he speaks.
There's nothing left here to eat,
His horrible voice begins.
so I'm moving on to the next area.
Silence. We dare not move a muscle. Who was he talking to?
I'll report back in 2 moons.
His voice sounds as if he's speaking through a mouthful of blood, a sickening sound mixed in with his already sickening voice. He's speaking to someone, most likely a higher authority figure. This new development is shocking to us all, to say the least. They don't need telephones or handheld transceivers to communicate across great distances. My heart drops as I realize our chances of survival just dim to barely a glow. All he has to do is close his eyes and speak, and someone, somewhere in this new nightmare world, would be hearing his words. It makes my heart sink further as I realize just who it is he's reporting to. There's some sort of God in this world, that much is certain. It could only mean that the serpent known as Satan may also be real. We just listened in on his phone call. The demon holds his new little treat into the air above his head and watches as little feet frantically try to find a way to avoid the doom they are about to walk into. His mouth is wide and full of teeth. His glossy eyes move from the mouse to the peeping toms watching him from the roof above. I feel the terror strike my heart, causing my body to react on instinct. Sasha's in danger. I jump off of the roof, down to the monstrosity waiting beneath me. I draw my sword as I make my descent down to him, floating like a feather and getting ready to sting like a hand grenade. The world around me slows down instantly, making it appear like time is coming to a standstill. I can see he hasn't had time to react yet. The mouse still dangles in his claws and his face appears confused. He wouldn't have time to react. My killer instincts make sure of that. I land on his pulsing back and bring my sword down hard, aiming its cruel blade for his open mouth. I pray that our anatomies are the same and that my blade will pierce a black heart somewhere in his oversized chest. My aim is remarkably accurate as my blade slides all the way down, making a horrid sound as it finds its mark. The demon's body jolts underneath me and begins shaking uncontrollably. I push down as hard as I can until only the handle of my sword protrudes from his open mouth. I pray the 4 feet of steel is long enough to make the kill. His body begins lurching forward in a dry heave, over and over, trying to regurgitate the instrument of his doom from his throat. I hold on tight, onto this terrible bucking bull sent straight from hell. I tense up and my muscles quake as I push down even harder. I'll make him eat this whole fucking thing, handle and all, to keep him from sending out a call for help. His teeth scrape my hand, tearing the flesh away with ease, but a few scrapes won't deter me from killing him. His life will end today, and the pressure I put on the handle of my sword tells him he needs to die already. The shaking stops, and the beast falls forward, sending me tumbling off his back. I roll with the momentum and spin around, ready to attack again with my bare hands. My sword is still down his throat, ensuring that he's not moving or breathing. Another demon has fallen at my feet. Looking up, I see Sasha, Greg, and John staring down at me in total disbelief. They didn't expect me to leap down 2 stories and slay one of hell's beasts, as is evident in the expressions of all they now wear. In all honesty, I didn't expect it either. The thought of Sasha being in danger moved me to action. I probably wouldn't have done so if she wasn't there. It doesn't matter what moved me. The only thing that matters is the end result. All of us are safe. For now. I stand up and walk over to the fallen demon and retrieve my sword from his gaping mouth. It stuck at first, but after a few tugs, it loosens its hold on the beast and slides out, dripping blood as black as the night. This has to be the only one here. His own words alluded to it. His own words. They can speak. Sasha and the others head down the stairs and over to me as I stand there looking at the fresh kill at my feet. I can't believe that I've done it again. This wouldn't be the last time I would slay one of the hellhounds. Sasha is the first to speak as she slowly wraps her arms around me.
That was the bravest thing I've ever seen. It's like you were meant to kill these fuckers. He looked scared when he looked at you, almost as if he knew he didn't have a chance. You were left here to kill these monsters and keep us safe. I know it.
She squeezes me hard and tiptoes to kiss my cheek and allows me to kiss her soft cheek in return. Sasha is safe.
Bro, mad props to you for that one. Shit, you just jumped off a building for fuck's sake. Badass.
Greg says as he flashes a smile as big as the one the fallen demon possessed.
Truly remarkable, Joe. Thank you, friend. You just saved us all.
John says while patting my back. I don't feel like a conquering hero. I feel confused. What if what Sasha says is true? What if I was left here to destroy the evil that now roams? I'm just one man, and there is no way one man can make a difference in this world. It just isn't feasibly possible, yet he's proven to work in mysterious ways. What if this was my purpose all along? I dismissed the notion entirely and remember that I was far from a saint. That's why I've been left behind. Let's gather ourselves and continue. This may not be the only one. We still have the rest of the town to cover, I instruct as I clean my sword off and maneuver it around Sasha to return it to my side. She refuses to let me go, holding me so lovingly and tenderly like I'm a fragile old baby, and not the brave man who just killed the undead. I look into her eyes and hold her attention with my smile. I killed him for you. No one will harm you, ever. I love you, Sasha. I kiss the corner of her mouth softly and lift her up, holding her up off the ground as she returns my affections tenfold. We enjoy the moment before I set her back down on her feet.
You just earned some serious brownie points with that.
She says through a smile as she points at the fallen demon.
And feel free to cash them in tonight.
She pauses to slap my behind with a renewed vitality.
Oh, and I love you too, Joe.
I can't wait for the night to arrive. I would slay the rest of hell just to get there. We both would. First, I need everyone to be safe before we can have our moment. I can wait. There was nothing I couldn't do in the new world. After all, I just slain one of hell's warriors. A few more hours won't kill me. The rest of the day was spent exploring half-standing buildings and deserted houses and unfolded without any trouble. We cleared buildings with speed and efficiency, not missing a beat as we roamed off to the next one. We would take brief breaks to drink water and snack on the few food items we brought with us. Sasha and I would sneak off occasionally for some alone time. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. It was a guilty pleasure I was allowing myself. Here I am, with so many lives depending on me, and I have my hand down Sasha's pants or up her shirt. I feel like a hormone-filled teenager. I feel like, well, just like Greg. It's during our last makeout session in an abandoned house that I realized I had to put a stop to it. I push her back a step and gather my senses. Sasha, we have to behave. I'm serious. We still need to find a safe place and get the others, I plead with her.
We need to find a dark place,
she says as she closes the gap between us and shoves her hand in my pants and grabs a handful. The world becomes irrelevant for a second while I lose myself and enjoy her touch. She has me so turned on right now. We live in the moment and bring light to these dark days, only wanting to be joined as one. I long for the night to arrive, and it shows in my now awake anatomy. Damn you, daylight, you're still here? Where the fuck is the moon already? Sasha, please don't do that, I say with regret as I remove her hand from my pants. You don't know the effect your touch has on me. I get so lost in it. She halts and thinks about my words for a brief second.
The way I get lost in your heart. It's easy to get lost and so hard for me to find my way back. I understand completely, baby.
She steps back and smiles at me. She is so radiant and sexy, and once the others are safe and we're alone, she'll be in so much trouble. I plan on doing so many things to her, with her, and for her. Let's get the others and then we can talk about that dark place. Shit, it could be well lit and it's still happening. I want to please her and make her feel every bit as sexy as I see her. I'm an experienced guy when it comes to making love, and I plan on using every trick in the book on her. So much trouble. My poor and lucky Sasha. We enter the room next to ours to find Greg and John sitting on the floor enjoying delights from Greg's secret candy stash. They look over at us and giggle.
Friends, we're all adults.
John begins.
So if you two want a few minutes alone before we get the others, it's fine by us.
Let's get the others and make sure all is well before we let our guard down. I do appreciate it, though. Thanks, John. Sasha and I look at each other, knowing what the other is thinking. A few minutes wouldn't do us justice. We would need an entire night to do everything we want. The way I want her, an entire week wouldn't be long enough. Just get through the day, Joe. Just get through the day.
Okay, let's get going then. I can tell you two are eager to get back here and, pick up where you left off.
John finishes. Understatement of the year by far. I hold on to Sasha's hand as we walk back through the town, scouting potential dark places for us to snuggle up later. A nice Victorian-style house, along with many others, is only a few buildings down from the grocery store that we planned on making camp in for the night. Plenty of food and water, along with various forms of entertainment for the others. It should keep them busy while we get busy. We reached the end of the town where we entered when Greg stopped suddenly with a wave of confusion washing over his face. It puzzles me, leaving a new fear to take hold. What's going on in his head? What's wrong, Greg? I walk over and stand in front of him. He's looking right through me, giving me the 1,000-yard stare, and it makes me feel like I'm an apparition.
This is it.
He replies. This is what? I'm getting nervous, having no clue what he's talking about.
This is our new life.
He's still staring straight through me, seeming so sad. It must now be dawning on him that everything we knew and loved would never come back. Greg, you're right. This is our new life. We're all gonna make a life together now. Don't dwell on the past. I need you here, in the present. We all need you. I admit to him, hoping he hears me.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't miss the old world. I never had friends, well, not friends that could kill monsters and that would die for me. For once in my life, I feel like I'm a part of something. I'm just grateful I'm here with you guys.
He's optimistic. He's looking forward to what this new life will bring. He's so smart that it makes him such a hard soul to read sometimes. He wasn't dwelling on his past life. He was letting it go. Let's get the others. They have no idea that they just inherited an entire town. We need to hurry so we can make it back before dark. I pat him on the arm as his smile grows and his tears start to flow. He's a young man, full of life and hope, but his soul is ages ahead of his years. He stands a smart kid, but beyond that, he's a loving kid. My new little brother. We walk through the field, heading back to the others. They were expecting us to find a safe roof to put over their head. We're about to give them a community, complete with everything they could possibly want. I wish I knew how long it would be our home. The chance that hell's beasts would set up upon us again is higher than ever, once they realize one of their own is missing. There's no knowing what the future holds. We can only enjoy a day at a time with the threat looming that the world could end the next day. It happened once before, after all. Reaching the others, we find everyone sitting against the old tree that was fast becoming a permanent fixture in our lives. They stand up as we approach, and I can see in their eyes that they want to hear good news. Their hopes are dangling by a thread. Greg, you tell them. For once, someone else could be the bearer of news, good or bad.
The town is ours.
The cheers are loud as everyone starts celebrating and hugging. I turn to Sasha and we lock together in our loving cuddle. The sun is almost down. We should hurry up and get back to town. I won't feel comfortable until everyone is safe with the roof over their heads, I say to her. Really wanted to talk about the things we were going to do once we were alone.
I'm ready. I can't fucking wait until I have you to myself.
I can see in her eyes that she means it. She loves me and wants to please me in every way that I want to please her. Her eyes have become so blue that I feel like I could jump right in and swim in them. She cracks a small smile and squints her eyes. I can feel her wanting me. She knows the feeling is mutual and it excites her ever more. I release my loving hold on her long enough to address the group, wanting more than ever to see a nighttime sky. Guys, let's go home! I shout and let out a laugh. The new positive energy the group has is infectious. Everyone starts cheering again and gathering the little belongings we had left in our camp. Greg can lead the way and the others can follow. I want a moment alone with Sasha before we head back into town. Hang back a minute. Let them go first, I say as I take her in my arms again. I give her a flirty little smile. She gets the meaning right away as her eyes light up and her beautiful smile returns. She shoves herself into me.
Out here?
She asks, surprised. I can't wait anymore. I want to take you right here, right now. I don't care that everyone is watching. They can have a live show as long as I get to have you. Sasha, to borrow your words, you make me want to fuck you right here in front of everyone. She erupts in her unique laughter, complete with a little snort at the end. She can't catch her breath as she's suddenly laughing too hard. I feel embarrassed for saying it that way, but it's how I feel in this moment. I feel my cheeks getting flustered and my face turning as red as an apple.
Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that. So romantic.
She starts laughing again, leaving me to force a smile in my embarrassment. Sorry, it's how I feel, I say as I look down, trying to avoid her eyes. I feel so stupid.
Don't be. Just wait for tonight. I promise it will be worth the wait.
She says, laughing softly. Get through the day, Joe. Just get through the day. The walk through the desolate meadow back to town is filled with excitement and laughter. The two Amy's talk about how they're going to find a bath first, while Danny talks about all the beer he's going to drink. Will and Carmen start talking about their honeymoon, while Greg speaks of finding a project to work on, unsure of what to start with. John goes on about sleeping for the next week. They all chatter back and forth until Amy K asks me and Sasha what we have planned. Dead silence joins the group all of a sudden. You sure you want to ask Sasha that, Amy K? I ask cautiously. I already know Sasha's mind, fully aware that colorful language is on the way.
Sure.
Amy K says, not realizing that Sasha doesn't care to be ladylike.
We're gonna fuck like wild animals, Amy.
Sasha informs her. We all laugh while Amy K turns the shade of red I was just a little while ago. She becomes so small as we all laugh until she finally speaks.
Well, have fun with that and be careful. It sounds like dangerous work.
I almost fall down laughing at this point. I feel a hernia coming on, literally busting a gut from bellowing laughter. The guys follow my lead and laugh with me while the ladies all seem embarrassed, except for Sasha. She wears an expression that says, "What?" she asked. We approach the town and the energy dies down, with everyone realizing that in this world, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. The town sits as still as death, nothing stirring anywhere. I explained to them all that we encountered a demon here and that I killed it. I told them of how they speak. I explained the whole dark scenario about them communicating by using the power of their minds to send their words across great distances, presumably all the way to hell. I let Greg, Sasha, and John explain how I jumped off of a building and murdered the hellspawn. My words won't do. Besides, they tell the story better than I ever could. We walk into the town, right down the main street, and head over to the grocery store. It's a large store for such a small town, complete with all the things we could possibly need. We have clothes, bedding, food, and enough water to last for months. There was no electricity in this life, but a stockpile of batteries awaited us inside. We are truly set. Greg leads the way into the store as we all follow, talking quietly now and walking with caution. My nerves are on edge, and I feel as if they will remain this way forever. Sasha notices and squeezes my hand, giving me the reassurance I need. I don't know what I'd do without her. She's been a blessing in disguise. I still don't know about her past life and don't feel the need to find out, but for some reason it torments my mind. She was cruel to me in the beginning, and now she loves me the way an artist loves their work. She holds me higher than the heavens for some unforeseen reason. I pray she'll stay with me forever, and that evil bitch Sasha would never return. I pull her close to me and put my arm around her waist as we walk. Don't ever leave me. We make it to the center of the store, and our eyes wander to the food and water and worldly pleasures in all directions. It's like hell's Disneyland, the scariest, happiest place on earth. I know with certainty the town is ours and feel the time has come to let the pack loose. Guys, go nuts. Finally, a command I don't mind giving. They all start hooting and hollering and scattering in all directions. They appear comical as they run one way and then another. It should be a crime to give starving people so much selection. Out of all the commotion, only Sasha and I don't budge. We watch as they all celebrate, Danny shoving potato chips down his throat, Will and Carmen browsing the wine aisle, and Greg doing what he does best. He found the adult book section. John walks past with a sleeping bag and a comforter, along with a cheap six-pack of warm beer. I laugh because he looks like a man on a mission, with his eyes blazing with determination. He will get his week-long nap and would be damned if anything was going to get in his way. The two Amy's are gone from sight, probably stocking up on toilet paper. The dusk appears outside the doors, and suddenly, I'm anxious. It's almost time. My nerves return to me in a good way. I'm excited, knowing what I'll be doing tonight. The fact that it's Sasha I will be doing it with is intimidating. Even though I love her to the moon and back, it's her beauty that scares me. She looks like a supermodel, so perfect and slender. Her face belongs on magazines. In the old world, I wouldn't have dared approach a woman so gorgeous, and tonight I'll be sleeping with one.
Let's take a walk.
I barely noticed she spoke, still in my own mind, thinking about her rather than paying attention to the woman herself. I look at her smiling face and find the look of mischief has fully returned to her face. She's ready for me. Where to? In the town or in the store?
Let's just walk and see where it takes us.
I look at her long and silent. I love her. I want to remember her in this moment, in this light, in this life. Her eyes can say so much, leaving her lips useless. They only exist for me to kiss them. I stroke her brown hair and brush it away from her face, exposing her slender jaw sculpted to perfection. She is the definition of true beauty, and she loves only me. I'm so blessed. Before I can take her up on her offer, the two Amy's appear in sight with a buffet of food and Greg behind them holding a folding lawn table. Must have been awkward when they approached him and asked for help while he was indulging in his reading material. Poor guy.
Before everyone runs off and does their own thing, I thought we should have a feast and give thanks to the good Lord above.
Amy J. says proudly.
For all the blessings we have received on this day.
I look at the group and search their faces. They stare at me as if they want me to get them off the hook, but they'll find no ally in me. A little sanity for them would go a long way. It's not a bad idea. I think we should. We all know God, is real now. Maybe we should offer our thanks. They look around, agreeing that it's the right thing to do. Danny can have his chips with our feast and John could nap afterwards. Greg would be able to return to his magazines later and Sasha and I could wait another hour. We made it further than I thought we would. The wonderful night we're about to indulge in shouldn't exist in this world. We owe someone our gratitude. I help Will set up the table while the ladies start rummaging through the food, brainstorming possible ideas for our little Thanksgiving dinner. Danny and Greg hunt down lawn chairs while John prepares the beverages. Warm beer, warm water, and warm soda. I could care less if it's warm. It's wet, and beggars can't be choosers. Greg and Danny return with plenty of seating, along with a few small battery-powered lanterns. After tossing in a few batteries, they click them on. They emit a bright glow, illuminating our area of the store, casting terrible shadows along the walls around us. It looks like we're surrounded by eerie ghosts, standing silent and waiting for us to walk past just a little too close. With the table now set up, the ladies start arranging the bounty on the table. A variety of canned goods, potted meats, tuna, and Spam. The only thing missing is bread. Every loaf in the store has been overcome with mold. It makes no difference to us. We will feast like kings on this night. We take our places at the table and I take my place next to Sasha while Amy K offers to say grace. To the surprise of all, Danny jumps up and asks for the honor. Great. The most negative prayer ever is on the way. Everyone looks at me with the same expression, wanting me to refuse his offer. The man has something to say, and strangely, I want to hear it.
Danny, the honor is yours.
Amy J concedes. We join hands as we stand up and begin our prayer of thanks.
Hey, God, I know you're real and shit, and I just wanted to thank you for our group.
He says, glancing at us all.
For all my new friends. Thanks for the food and for the water and the beer, especially the beer. Also, I know I've been a dick lately, but I am grateful for everything I have. Give us strength in the coming days. Thanks, man. Bye. Amen.
The look of disbelief must have been on all our faces. Danny's face shifts from genuinely grateful to one of hurt in a split second. What did he expect? That was out of character and wasn't half bad considering the source.
Fuck it. If you guys can do better, then go for it.
He sits down abruptly in his chair while pounding like a stubborn child as we all take our seats. Danny, that was beautiful, man. The words may not have been the nicest thing to say in a prayer, but they were your words. They came from the heart. Thank you. I really mean that. I look at him and wait for a response for what seems like a lifetime. He glances over to me and smiles his broken, crooked smile. His face looks childish in this light, but in a beautiful way. Children smile when they're happy, and Danny's happy inside, proud of his words. I hope they caused whatever creator is up there to smile down as well.
You know, I really meant it, every word, especially the part about the beer. I'm grateful for the beer,
he says as he comes to life, suddenly vibrant. I know you meant it. I'm sure God does too. I'm glad you have your beer, man. Enjoy it. My eyes shoot over to Sasha. I think tonight we should all indulge in the small joys we can still find. She starts to smile and then hides it by looking down into her lap. In the glow beaming from the lanterns, I could see the pale skin of her cheeks turning a bright red, the color of love showing on her suddenly shy face. It's a beautiful color on her. I made her blush. She glances up for a second at me and suppresses a small little laugh before her eyes return to her lap. She's thinking about what the night will bring. So am I, and it must show in my eyes as her eyes can't meet mine for more than a second.
Oh, here we go with these two,
Carmen says and giggles.
I think it's sweet.
Amy K says softly. Her eyes are lost in another time, probably thinking about her own long-lost love.
You know what? I can't say anything because I'm raping Will tonight.
Carmen exclaims. We all laugh as we never expected her to be so brash. She's always so quiet. She's feeling as much alive as Sasha and me.
Babe, what the hell?
Will demands, looking embarrassed.
Will, shut the fuck up. We're getting laid tonight.
I erupt in laughter at this new side of Carmen that we didn't know. Everyone else is laughing as well as the energy in the room picks up. It feels like the old world never ended and I'm just having a good time with friends. It almost feels normal again.
Okay, fine. You didn't have to tell everyone, though.
Well, they're gonna hear it later anyways.
Carmen leans into Will's towering figure perched next to her as he wraps his arm around her. They will have their honeymoon tonight. All right, no more of this dirty talk. I'm starving. Let's eat, I command. The spam on the table looks like the tastiest treat the world has ever known. Food I tolerated in the old world is suddenly appealing. We all dig in and load up on the paper plates the two Amy's had managed to find. I cram my plate full of everything on the table, even the vegetables I never cared for. The chatter in the room grows louder, and it's beginning to feel like a holiday. Everyone surrounding a plentiful bounty with only smiles and crumbs on their faces just feels like a special occasion. God is truly great, allowing us a small piece of the past to relish this night. Wonderful moments would be few and far between. If we had known that, we probably would have never risen from this table.
Don't eat too much. You pig.
I glance over at Sasha to find her eyes upon me. She's wearing a sly little grin and chewing her food slowly. She even looks sexy while she's eating. Maybe I'm the one who's in trouble. I'm good. I won't let anything ruin tonight. I smile at her with cheeks packed full of canned corn. I must look like the world's horniest squirrel.
Save some room for dessert.
There's that look again. Sasha, I don't even want to eat my meal. I want to be a fat kid and skip to dessert. She chuckles quietly, trying to keep her food from spraying out of her mouth. She looks at me before scanning the faces of the others in the room. She leans over to me and whispers in my ear.
Give me a reason to put my fork down. Tell me what you want to do to me.
My heart begins to race. I look at everyone, completely oblivious that we're about to have phone sex without the phone, and lean into her and let my face brush away the hair around her ear. I tell her of the things I've planned in vivid detail. Her body begins to shake next to mine as I describe the wonders I'm going to make her feel. She flinches a bit and lets out a sigh when I tell her of the things I plan on doing with my mouth. She's getting turned on. If anyone looked under the table, they would see that I'm already there.
Okay, shut the fuck up now. I'm serious.
I continue to describe how I'll please her in every way, speaking from a lustful soul. I let our cheeks brush against each other as I go on about the trouble she's about to be in. Without warning, she grabs my shirt and pulls my face to hers. Our eyes are now inches apart and both are blazing with the burning passion. She gives a forceful command in the form of a loud whisper.
Fuck me. Right now.
We shoot up from our seats, sending our chairs screeching behind us and lock in front of everyone, kissing and groping with moaning coming from us both. I lift her up and place her lovingly on my hips and let her legs wrap around my body before bucking up against it. Fuck this food. I'm having dessert. Everyone else can have a show. She starts tearing my shirt off and kissing my neck. I open my eyes and see everyone looking on in complete shock. What the fuck are we doing? I beg her to stop as she's reaching downstairs, feeling what now belongs to her. She pulls away from my neck and looks at me with annoyance splashed across her face.
What?
I start laughing to myself and whisper to her to look around. She glances back and sees everyone sporting the same drop jaw, except for Danny and Greg. They're sharing the bag of potato chips Danny loves so much, with smiles stretched across their faces.
Oh, don't mind us.
Greg says through a mouthful of chips and a joker's grin.
Go on.
The blood races to my face with alarming speed, so far away from where it pulsed just a few seconds ago. Fuck. I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know what came over us. I ramble on, completely embarrassed as I place Sasha on her feet. And I hope we didn't ruin the evening.
Hell no. You just made our evening.
Amy J bursts. Everyone starts their laughter and the embarrassment I was just feeling dissipates as quickly as it manifested. We acted out of love. There isn't a more beautiful thing in this horrible new world. We return to our seats and catch our breath, with Sasha still panting softly as she tries to compose herself. My words and my touch won't soon be forgotten. That much is clear. I didn't realize how much she wanted me until our embrace only moments before. She's dying to have me as much as I'm trying to stay alive, waiting for her touch. Tonight, we'll probably kill each other.
Going to the bathroom. Be right back.
Greg stands up and excuses himself from the table. I do my best to avoid the thought of Greg going to masturbate after getting a live show of Sasha and me. I can't get it out of my head as he rounds the corner and heads off into the darkness. I don't like the thought of him being alone when we haven't even spent a single night in our new town. We don't know the environment. I'm sure he was only needing a dark corner. I'm also sure he doesn't want company either. I look around the room and watch as everyone destroys the food in front of them. I smile at my new love in this world and she smiles back. Our moment is tender and beautiful, captivating our attention and is only interrupted by Greg's scream. It freezes everyone on cue. What now? Panic grips everyone's faces tight and paralyzes them. I jump from my seat, eyes wide and trying to adjust to the darkness I'm about to charge into, and push my steps hard towards Greg, Panic's scream. I move with such haste that I forget to grab my sword. I make it around the corner and fade into the darkness. Only a few aisles are illuminated slightly from the moonlight coming through the windows. My eyes adjust in time for me to see a small figure curled up at the end of the aisle. It's Greg, and he's not moving. My legs catch fire as I run to him as fast as humanly possible. The distance shrinks almost instantly, evidence that all this running in the new world has really built up my speed. I crouch down next to him and bring my face close to his, trying to detect any signs of life, hoping my new little brother was still amongst the living. He stirs ever so slightly as I lift his head up. He's alive, allowing me to breathe again.
Joe?
I can't see his eyes in the darkness, but they must be open. He recognizes me. I'm here, bro. What happened?
I was just walking to the back to take a piss and I found something.
He becomes quiet. What the hell did he find and what the hell happened? I still have no idea how the fuck he ended up concussed on the floor, and a new sense of urgency threatens to set off the alarm bells in me. Greg, what happened? I need to know. You gotta tell me, and tell me quickly. He sits up on the floor now and places a hand on his head where a small knot is already forming.
Oh. I found this.
He reveals and places a small plastic bag in my hands.
And I just got so happy, and then I looked over and must have scared myself.
He points to the mirror next to us on the wall, reflecting a pair of dark beings pretending to be us.
And I must have gotten turned around in the darkness and ran straight into the wall.
He groans as I help him to his feet. I can feel the bag in my hands and already suspect what's inside of it. I can smell it. It is no doubt some of the finest grass around before the world went to hell. Greg and his porn, Greg and his drugs. He is fast becoming legendary. What do you expect me to do with this? I question as I raise the bag up in front of his face.
You know what it is, right?
Of course, Greg. I'm not an idiot. It's weed.
You want to smoke it with me? I mean, I'm down if you are too.
I really don't want to get stoned while we're trying to survive the horrors of hell. The last thing I need is for a demon to show up and we all laugh at him. I know that Greg is going to smoke it regardless of what I say, so I decide I won't deprive him of his little joy. He can get as high as a kite for all I care. Like I said at the table, we should all indulge in the small joys we could still find. He found it. He should enjoy it, and I shouldn't start this new life as a hypocrite by depriving him. No, I'm good, bro. You can smoke it. I won't stop you. Just one thing, though. Could you let the rest of the group know about it? I doubt they smoke that stuff, but they have a right to know who's watching them while they sleep. They may not like the idea of a stoned kid keeping watch, but they should know all the same.
Sure, bro, but are you sure you don't want to smoke with me? It's not as much fun alone.
I'm sure. Only I'm not. I suspect I will be getting high tonight, on weed or on Sasha's touch. I enjoyed pot when I smoked as a younger man. Still, the risk outweighs the rewards, but even so, I have a terrible habit of living in the moment. What's the point of all this struggle if we forget to live every now and then? Let's head back, little brother. Everyone heard you screamed and freaked out. They're probably wondering what happened.
Okay, yeah.
I lift him up and we head through the darkness towards the glow the lanterns are giving off. Walking down the aisle seems to take a week when I ran it in just seconds moments ago. Our steps are quiet as we make our way back to the group. Everyone seems relieved when they see Greg and me make our way back into the light. Sasha is standing with my sword drawn. She was ready, and in this moment, I'm so proud of her.
Sorry everybody. I'm fine, I just scared myself and ran into a wall.
And? I asked sharply while looking at Greg with stern eyes.
And I found some pot and I'm gonna smoke it. You guys are welcome to join me.
Everyone looks around and then back at Greg with the same expression shared amongst them.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Danny asks as he looked back and forth between Greg and me.
I found a bag of pot and I used to smoke a lot of pot back in the day. I wanted to get high, and Joe said I should tell all of you before I do, just so you know why I'll be acting. Kinda weird.
He looks around nervously, eyes wide, almost like he's waiting for everyone to start casting stones and literally stone him to death.
I'll try it.
Amy K seems like the last person on earth to attempt it, yet here she is, asking to get high.
Me too. Why the hell not?
Amy J joins in.
Fuck it. Let's all get high.
Danny yells. Doesn't surprise me that he's on board. They all start turning to each other and agreeing that this bad decision is somehow a good idea. Even John is going along and agreeing to smoke. What the fuck got into everyone? Sasha walks over to me with the look of concern painted on her face. I'm so thankful I'm not the only one who's thinking clearly.
Baby, are you going to do it?
Her eyes are full of questions and she seems worried. No.
But I want you to. With me.
What the fuck? She was worried about me not smoking with her. I thought she saw the risk in it, like I did. Are you serious?
Yes. I used to smoke like a fucking train in college. I still smoked occasionally when it happened.
Her eyes seem to go blank for a second as she pauses, lost in a memory.
But anyways, it would be nice to get stoned again. I kinda miss being detached from the world for a little while.
I'm caught off guard that Sasha is wanting to get blitzed. She never seemed like the kind of girl who did any kind of drugs. I realize now that I still don't know about her past. This woman that I love so much is still a stranger to me in most ways. It's a disturbing revelation, yet a pleasant surprise. I gaze into her bright blue eyes and get lost in all the beauty in them. She seems so alive, so much more than a week ago, and it shows in the mirrors of her soul. Her beautiful eyes, about to be bloodshot red, as I couldn't say no to the woman who possessed them. I will get high with her. I want to get high with her on so many levels. This will be just another way to do so. Getting detached from the world. Well, when you say it like that, fuck it. Let's do it then. All I can do now is smile at her, wanting to experience her in every way.
Really?
She cocks her head like a puppy that doesn't understand, causing me to pause and admire the fact that no matter what expression she wears, I will always find it endearing. It doesn't sound so bad. And for you, anything, my love. Let's do it. She reaches out and captures me and holds me tight, moving her hands up and down my back before planting her cheek on my chest. She feels wonderful against my body and smells so magnificent. I still hadn't figured out how she smelled so damn good all the time.
Thanks, baby.
She looks at me and plants a kiss on my lips before turning to the group.
Joe's gonna get fucked up with us.
She declares triumphantly. A collective fills the air as everyone starts cheering for me as if this is a good thing. To hell with it. Sasha wants to do it and I will never refuse her. Wrapping my arms around her, I squeeze her from behind and kiss her cheek, finding it so soft and smooth and inviting. Be right back, sweetheart. I let her go and head over to Greg, who sits examining the lime green buds next to the light to get a glance at our party favors for the night. He glances up and smiles and returns to his observations. He appears as a kid with a new toy. Is it going to be enough for all of us? Doesn't look like much at all.
Oh yeah. There's about 4 grams here. That's plenty. It looks like a kush, I'm not sure. It could be another strain. Either way, it's going to do the job.
He opens the bag and shoves his nose in it, breathing in deeply. He pulls his head back and exhales with the ecstasy of an orgasm. His brain just blew a load. He passes the bag to me while smiling like a fool. I take the bag and mimic his actions and breathe in deep, inviting the fragrance of sweet grass and a hint of fruit. It's a pungent strain, the aroma already filling our side of the room. It smells like a wonderful potpourri, earthy with a dash of tart. My nose is thoroughly engulfed by its sweet perfume. Just like my wonderful Sasha, there may be more to this than meets the eye. I saw a pack of cigars behind the counter. Grab me one and I roll it up. Greg looks at me and smirks while holding back laughter.
Seriously? You know how to roll?
Greg, I was young once. I wrote the book on partying. Go grab that cigar and I'll show you how to roll a sweet better than a factory roll. He springs up from his seat and jogs towards the front of the store. He has the same excitement children get when they get to go to the water park. We all do. If only it would have lasted just a bit longer. The night, unbeknownst to us, was about to take a turn for the worst. My eyes are so heavy. They feel as dry as the Sahara Desert as they fight to stay open. My head swims and my ears are alive with every sound in the room. The shadows of the room seem more intense, almost like it's a room crowded with 30 people instead of 9. My body feels heavy as if I'm wearing a bulletproof vest. I'm sitting on the floor, along with the group, all sitting cross-legged in a circle with Sasha laying across my lap and looking up at me. She hits the blunt and makes a smoke ring and blows it into my face. She looks so angelic through all the smoke. Her glossy blue eyes are even more beautiful than usual, leaving me feeling like I'm looking into her soul. Maybe I'm just that high. She hits the blunt long and hard and passes it off to Carmen, who's sitting next to us. She gets up off my lap and brings her face to mine, parting my lips with her tongue and blowing the smoke right into my lungs with her fiery kiss. I feel my body sway into hers, and I grab her by the hair and kiss her long and with meaning, as smoke pours out of the both of us. She pulls away and giggles her sweet laughter before pulling my hair in return. I feel my heart racing 1,000 miles an hour, only in a good way. I look around the room at everyone and see small eyes and smiles abound. We're all so fucked up.
My mouth. It's so dry. Is that normal?
Amy Kay asks no one in particular. She's staring at the floor in front of her. We all chuckle at her. She's a proper lady who has found herself spaced out of her mind.
Really, I'm so thirsty. I think I'm going to drink that gallon of water over there. Is that okay? It's not too much, right? I'm really thirsty.
We all start laughing at her as she looks back and forth at us all with an expression of curiosity.
I think I'll start with half a gallon.
Laughter fills the room again. She begins crawling across the floor towards the water on the opposite side of the circle.
What the hell are you doing?
Carmen asks before erupting in laughter.
When I walk, it feels like I'm walking on marshmallows, and I don't want to ruin the marshmallows for you guys. What if someone wants s'mores?
She looks at Carmen with a look as serious as a heart attack.
I don't want to be the one who ruins the s'mores.
Caught off guard, I begin laughing at her in her silly moment. I feel my cheeks hurting from smiling so much. The room follows and erupts in laughter as Amy Kay starts her crawl again, avoiding the imaginary marshmallows as she goes.
S'mores. Let's make some fucking s'mores.
Danny roars as he jumps to his feet.
I'm in.
John yells in agreement while also popping up to his feet. There's a few silent moments between the two.
In what?
Danny asks, confused.
I'm in for, well, you know.
John replies slowly.
What were we talking about?
Danny smirks.
I have no idea, friend, but I'm in.
They both bellow laughter until Greg comes to their rescue.
Dude, We were all talking about making s'mores.
Greg states. His eyes have disappeared almost completely.
Fucking s'mores, bro.
Danny yells.
What a great idea. I'm in.
They start a mad scramble throughout the store in search of all the ingredients. Greg and John head towards the toilet paper aisle while Danny heads towards the laundry detergents. Fucking stoners. Will looks at me, his eyes completely bloodshot and almost closed.
Joe, are you high?
Hell yeah, I respond. I can feel the permanent smile plastered on my face.
Me too. I was just checking.
Sasha and I giggle while observing him. He comes off as a child who's lost in a grocery store. Are you okay, Will?
Yeah, Joe, I'm just, I was.
He spaces out for a minute before returning as his lips form a small smile.
Fuck, I forgot where I was going with this.
Sasha and I explode with laughter while Amy J giggles and hits the blunt. She's the only one who hasn't arrived on our level, but she's working on it. It'll come to you later, man. Just chill out. Enjoy yourself. Carmen pulls his head close to hers and whispers in his ear. She must be saying something really erotic, judging by the small, almost barbaric laugh he's crowing.
Joe!
Will states loudly, making Sasha and I both jump out of our skin. What's up, bro?
Me and Carmen are going for a walk. Don't follow us.
He commands comically. I bark, laughing at his attempt at secrecy. Okay.
Will, what the fuck?
Carmen exclaims as she slaps his arm lightning quick.
Well, babe, I don't want him to walk up on us.
You could have just said we were going for a walk, you dumbass. He's smart enough that he would have figured that's what we were doing.
Okay, sorry, babe. Shit.
He whines while rubbing the small red handprint imbued on his arm.
Well, Will and I are gonna go fuck,
She begins as she rises from her perch on the floor.
so that's where we'll be if you need me or my dumbass husband.
Laughter fills the air again as Sasha and I fall over each other. My stomach is cramping from laughing so much, but it's the only time I welcome the pain. Will and Carmen head towards the front of the store where the more secluded aisles reside before disappearing into the darkness.
I found the water.
Amy Kay exclaims in triumph. She's on her knees still, with the gallon of water now over her head, guzzling down her refreshing treasure. I feel the laughter coming on again before Amy J steals my attention.
Oh shit.
Amy J says quietly, her blonde curls surrounding her now puzzled face. Sasha meets her gaze with a look of concern.
What's wrong, girl?
I think I'm feeling it now.
She hands the blunt to Sasha, who passes it along to me. I place it gently on the floor next to me. I'm done with it for now, already too smashed to consume any more and knowing full well that my limit has already been breached. I can feel a severe case of the munchies about to make itself known. Amy J, are you good? I ask.
Yes. I feel really happy, almost like I'm drunk or something.
That's good. That's all you're supposed to feel.
Well, heck, why was this stuff illegal? We should have all been doing it all along.
She rises slowly to her feet while fighting to keep her balance.
I feel like dancing.
She begins clapping her hands and swaying to a rhythm that only she can hear as a smile spreads across her face. It dawns on me that this is the first time I've ever seen her truly happy. I sit admiring her moment of happiness when I feel Sasha kiss my neck, her hair brushing against my face and sending shudders down my spine. Every sense is heightened, but she already feels so good.
I really want you.
Her words caress my ear like sweet music, and I hear it echo throughout my frenzied mind. I want you too, but right now, I'm so hungry, I admit pathetically. She laughs and pushes me away before smiling and pulling me back into her.
Me, too. Let's find something to eat. You're gonna need a lot of energy later.
She winks at me and glows with anticipation. The image of her stirs me into a passion I can't wait to unleash upon her. You too, woman. I'm gonna destroy you. You have no idea. She laughs at me as we cling on to one another before our moment is cut short by Amy Kay and her mindless curiosity.
Why would you do that? Destroy her. That's so mean. It's such a horrible thing to say.
Her eyes are full of wonder and anger. She really thinks I'm literally going to rip Sasha to pieces. Amy K, it was an expression for something else. You get it? Her brow wrinkles as she thinks about it.
Oh, you're talking about wild sex.
Amy J bursts with laughter as she reaches down and grabs Amy K by the hand.
Come on and dance with me. Leave the lovebirds alone.
She rises up and leaves us to join her new dance partner. They begin dancing and laughing, looking like they've been the best of friends all of their lives. If I was a stranger seeing them for the first time, I would have believed they had been.
Baby, I'm hungry.
Sasha moans. Fuck, me too. Like, really fucking hungry. Let's find something to eat. Before we can rise from our seats, Danny, Greg, and John return with their precious loot. They found what they had been looking for, and then some, apparently.
Check this shit out.
Greg begins.
I found marshmallows and graham crackers and peanut butter and jelly and chocolate and tortillas that are still good.
He stands tall and triumphant, like he just climbed the world's highest peak. I feel my stomach cramp from laughing so hard and threatening to eat itself all at once. Greg looks so comical to me, holding his tortillas above his head. I can't stop laughing at him, especially with Danny and John standing next to him wearing the same look of victory. Sasha's falling on me from her own uncontrollable laughter. She isn't even making any noise in her fight between laughter and breath, just a silent laughter escaping the beautiful image that is her face. Fucking tortillas? Really? Oh my god, dude. I begin through the tears. Tortillas, bro? Really? What the fuck are you gonna do with tortillas? He gives me a look of complete disbelief.
Fucking peanut butter and jelly quesadillas, bro.
He states with conviction.
It's gonna be the shit.
It's gonna give you the shits, Greg. Sasha falls over next to me and begins a new laughing attack. I see the world race away from me as I fall back and join her on the floor, laughing as hard as her now. We can't catch our breath, our lungs cramping as we gasp for oxygen between the bellows. That has to be the world's worst dish ever thought of, yet it sounds so delicious at the same time. I must be starving to find it so appealing.
Well, I'm having one. We have a whole aisle full of toilet paper and it's the end of the world, so fuck it.
Greg says and giggles before turning his attention to creating a culinary masterpiece. Sasha rises up next to me, sitting and still laughing while trying to catch her breath. I can only see the rafters and hear her sweet voice. My body feels useless and dead. I don't care to move a muscle right now. I'll just lay her on the floor and stare at the ceiling until the quesadillas are ready.
Baby, get up.
I don't want to. Go away. She chuckles at my command and I can feel her staring at my face.
Seriously, get your ass up.
What for? I'm so comfortable. I groan, not wanting to remove myself from my new bed.
I want a kiss.
She requests. Then come to me. A few quiet seconds pass as nothing happens. At least it seems like seconds in my inebriated state.
I would love a kiss.
She mutters, her voice going soft as she speaks. Her tone strikes a worry into my heart and causes me to sit up quickly. I'm here. Are you okay? She sits next to me with her head slightly tilted, staring into my bloodshot brown eyes. She wears a beautiful smirk that only she can wear. Her eyes become alive as she confesses to me in a way that she hasn't done before.
I love you so very much. I hope you know that, Joe. I'm not saying that because of the pot. I know I truly love you more than any man I have ever met.
She has me in the palm of her hand. I reach out to her radiant face and touch it ever so gently. I let the back of my fingers glide across her cheek before cupping her face and bringing it to mine. I kiss her so slowly, patiently, almost graciously, as she savors the moment of naked truth, my love for her. I reveal it in the form of a kiss, the kiss that she loves so much. Our passion ends, but I keep my face close to hers as I begin my own confession, speaking words to her that I knew to be true the moment I laid my eyes upon the goddess I now hold so highly. When we first met, that day in the woods, I thought I had come across an angel. If it wasn't for your clothes, I would have believed you were. You're just so beautiful, Sasha. I had just lost my family a few weeks before. Loving another person was the last thing on my mind. Seeing you for the first time, it scared the shit out of me. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, how could I not love a woman so beautiful? I will always love my wife and hold her above all others. She was good to me. She didn't abandon me. She's in his kingdom. I also knew that one day I may feel something for you. I was so afraid it would be wrong of me to love someone else. I'm not afraid anymore. It doesn't feel wrong at all. I think you are the strength that he knew I would need. Your love gives me the strength of 1,000 men. Standing next to you makes me his personal one-man army. You are the blessing he sent to carry me on. Love ruled my old life. He made sure love would play a part in my new life when he gave me you. I love you so terribly much, Sasha. And I can't wait to start living a real life with you. The tears race down her cheeks while her beautiful blue eyes blink quickly as she gives it her best attempt to keep from crying. She wraps her arms around me and grips me tight, leaving me to feel the warmth of her body against mine. The energy is erratic, surrounding us both as we radiate with love. Everything in the room disappears in that moment, and only she and I remain. My sweet Sasha, so loving and pure, is truly my soul. Greg and John interrupt our moment with their new delights, so unsavory and pitiful, but still enticing. The peanut butter and jelly quesadillas have arrived. Wonderful.
Sorry to bug you guys, but you should eat up. These things are fucking delicious.
Greg has peanut butter and jelly smeared across his chin, matched by the equal amounts on his shirt. He looks like a cook that got high and ate all the entrees. What a dumb observation, I think to myself. Only, that's exactly what happened. I release my hold on Sasha to reach for the paper plate offered to me while she begins wiping the tears away.
Sasha, are you hungry?
He asks softly, observing the tears upon her shirt.
Fucking better believe it.
She snatches the plate out of my hands and starts inhaling her food. She makes it disappear off of the plate almost instantly and leaves nothing for me. Here I am, thinking she loves me. I grab one of the drenched tortillas and chow down. Greg's observation is spot on. They're absolutely delicious. Only a stoner's mind could come up with such a treat. If the New World ever approaches a civilized world again, I will patent these strange munchies and sell them. The new Hot Pocket. College campuses everywhere will be littered with fat kids. Danny appears out of nowhere holding a quesadilla in each hand. He looks so overstuffed and in total bliss. The two Amy's appear beside him a moment later.
Joe, I need to go to the little girl's room and was wondering if you could make sure it's safe before I do.
Amy K's feeling the effects of the half-gallon of water she guzzled down a few minutes ago. Her side-to-side dance makes it painfully obvious.
I'll go with her, baby. I gotta piss like a racehorse.
Sasha rises from her seat and instinctively I stand up with her. Don't let her go anywhere. No, let me check it out before and then you can go. It won't take long.
Baby, there's no time for that. She's about to piss all over herself.
Amy K looks at me and bobs her head up and down, still dancing her two-step. She really is about to make a puddle. Okay, but please be careful, I warn as I reach for my sword. And take this. You never know. I hand her the instrument of death. If she's really going without me, I don't want her unarmed.
I'll be back before you know it. I love you, baby.
She smiles at me and leans in for a kiss, and I'm all too happy to accept. We share a few brief pecks before I send her on her way. I love you too, my beautiful Sasha.
That's right.
She quips before clicking her tongue and pointing at me.
I'm yours, baby.
She giggles and walks off with the two Amy's towards the dark corridors leading to the bathrooms. The weak man in me can watch her walk away from him all day long. Such a perfect body. Holy shit.
Joe.
I damn near have a heart attack as Danny's voice shrieks in my ear. The sound of it causes me to jump. Fuck, dude. You don't have to scream, bro. We're all in the same fucking room.
Sorry, man.
He apologizes before pausing and collecting his thoughts.
Can I tell you something without you getting all pissed off at me and shit?
I stare at him for a moment before remembering he's waiting for a response. Where's this going? Sure, man. What's on your mind?
When we first met, I didn't like you. at all. I do now, but not at first. You reminded me of my brother.
That's a bad thing?
Fuck yeah, man. I hated my brother. He's the reason I was in prison.
I was right in my first assumption about Danny being a criminal. He looks the part, but it doesn't seem to be him at all. What happened between you two? He gives me his undivided attention and takes a deep breath before beginning. I can tell he's been waiting to tell this story for quite some time. I turn to face him and give him my undivided attention as well. I'm going to learn who Danny is. The real Danny.
Well, I was married to a gal who stole my heart when I was a young guy. We met as teenagers. God, I loved her, man. She was the sweetest strawberry blonde I ever met. I knew when we were kids that I would marry her. About a year after we were married, I got up one morning and went to work. Road construction. Hot as fuck, but man, great work. We had an unexpected storm that day and were rained out about an hour into the job. Turned around and went home. That's when I walked in on my brother fucking my old lady. I froze when I saw them. They had just started. He must have just got there. They didn't even see me for about a minute. I stood there watching them, feeling the hate rise up and boil over. I snapped and picked up a coffee table and smashed it over his back while he was on her. He got up and ran out the door. My old lady, the whore I fell for, just looked at me. She didn't even care that she just ripped my heart out. I left and went looking for my brother. When I found him over at my parents' house, he was dead. He hung himself. She called the cops when I left, thinking I was going to kill him. That's what she told the cops on the phone. They showed up right after me and assumed I hung him. I got a life sentence for that shit.
Now it makes sense. Danny isn't a violent man. He was pushed to the brink, something that would bring out the worst in any of us, and wound up in the wrong place at the wrong time. The sad fact was that the only crime he committed was striking a man with a table. A man who was his blood, who happened to be screwing his wife. Most men would have done far worse. I'm sorry, Danny. That's such a fucked up thing to live with. I hope you found some sort of peace in the whole mess.
Peace? Hell no.
You still hate your brother, a dead man.
I'll always hate that bastard. The only peace I found was the realization that I would have been in prison after that day anyways. I would have killed him if I could have. He would have died that day, no matter what. Yes, I hate that dead motherfucker and I hate the whore that was my wife. Fuck them both.
I feel my buzz leaving me and my senses returning to normal. Such a serious talk was sure to be a buzzkill as well as an eye-opener. Danny isn't a bad man who does bad things. He was a bad man because others did bad things to him. I reach down and grab what's left of the blunt next to my feet. I light it up and take a long toke before passing it off to Danny. Don't stress about that right now, Danny. Let's enjoy the night, bro. All that shit is water under the bridge. Take this shit and let's keep the party going. He takes a hit off of the blunt and smiles at me, allowing smoke to come pouring out of the corners of his mouth. He really needs to let go of the hate he holds. For now, I can only do my part in making him forget. I hope there's still enough weed to keep him stoned a while longer.
Fuck, man. I'm sorry for bringing you down. You're right, bro.
He acknowledges before bobbing his head in agreement.
Let's fucking party. I'm gonna grab a beer.
I gotcha.
Greg pops up with 3 beers in his hands, the Boy Scout of the party, always prepared. Danny trades him the blunt for a warm beer. Greg motions for me to grab a beer, but I decline. I hate beer, but warm beer I absolutely despise. I look around and see that John has taken a seat with the remainder of the quesadillas. The girls are nowhere in sight, as is the case with Carmen and Will. Everything seems quiet still, allowing me to relax a bit.
You guys, you look funny, like the Three Stooges or something.
John states as he continues his feeding frenzy. He begins to giggle to himself. Oh, a wise guy, eh? I shoot 2 fingers at Danny's face as he blocks them on cue before turning and slapping Greg on the back of his head. John erupts in laughter and we all join him. I do a pretty good impression from time to time.
Do something else.
John hollers. He looks like a kid enjoying a puppet show. I have my best infomercial voice. I begin my pitch. It's Joe here, and I'm back with another amazing, fantastic product. Tired of being a big fat ass? No money for a diet plan? No problem. You don't need money because it's the end of the fucking world and it's just worthless paper now. It's all a part of this exciting offer of starving your way to a better body. You won't have food to eat. You'll run for your life. You'll get extreme amounts of cardio work in with as few carbs as possible. You'll look amazing if you don't die first. All the guys are falling over themselves all over again while a new energy begins filling the room. It feels like the old days when I would hang out with my buddies and bullshit all night. Fighting my own onset laughter, I continue my pitch. Don't have time to go for a run? That big-ass demon behind you says you do. Just imagine. At this moment, Sasha approaches, so I pause and place the cigar in my mouth. I look at Sasha with a half smile and shoot her a clever little wink before seeing a wild look invade her widening eyes.
He's not real. He's not real. He's not real. He's not real. He's real.
The blade glints in the light of the lanterns before it slices my cheek. It was enough of a warning, my instincts kicking in and leaning me back before I realized my sword was coming for my throat. Sasha stands in front of me, wild-eyed and full of hate. The evil Sasha has returned to my world. This time, she grips my sword in her vengeful hands. She screams as she pitches forward with the blade aimed at my heart. I dare not move a muscle. She is my soul, and I will always accept her as such. I will not fight against her. I'll let her kill me if that is her desire. My eyes feel dreamy as if I'm slipping into a loving nightmare. My heart accelerates at an alarming speed, sensing the doom aimed at it. I'm fixing to die by a hand I love so dearly. This is my punishment for my sins. I believe it because I can think of no worse way to die. Fuck it all, my innermost voice declares. It's time to pay. I'm ready. I smirk at Sasha as she races towards her goal of becoming my beautiful death. Greg and John crash into Sasha and they all sprawl across the floor in a heap of human limbs. They're all scrambling for the sword. It's all I see as Danny falls on top of me in the same moment, diving in front of the blade that was aimed at my heart. I hit the floor and jump up to my feet almost in the same moment. My adrenaline is flowing and my senses are now fully returned to me. Sasha manages to get to her feet with the sword in her hand as Greg and John each grab an arm. She pulls and growls as she tries to get free. We lock eyes for a second that seems to span an entire lifetime. I see the hate dissolve almost instantly as her loving eyes return to her, only they now cast a look of fear. The realization hits her like a runaway train. I can see the disappointment in herself race across her mind.
Baby, I'm so sorry. Joe, I'm so sorry.
She releases my sword and it falls to the ground with a metallic clang. She tries hard to come to me, but Greg and John refuse to give an inch. I step backwards with tears stinging my cheeks and mixing with the hot blood she just drew from me. I feel so betrayed, so hurt and angry. Most of all, I'm just confused. I feel so empty in this moment, as if my soul is leaving me, and it feels worse than any death the demons could inflict upon me.
I'm so sorry, baby. Please, please.
I start walking backwards towards the office in the store. The lump growing in my throat makes certain I have nothing to say. I don't know what I could possibly say when her hateful actions just said it all. It isn't meant to be.
Please don't walk away.
She pleads through the tears.
I love you.
I turn around and walk into the darkness. It would be 2 months before we would speak again.